of like people talk about marriage. They're like, oh man, I got so long to go. When I get 55, that's when I'm going to get married.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That was your thoughts?
Yeah.
That's what he like really told me.
Did you think 55 was old or something?
No, I just thought that's the year of marriage. We was planning our date. And she was like, how you feel about marriage? I was like, well, you know, marriage I think is about like for older people when you get like 55. Dang. She was like, older people. She was like, you got 2 years to think about if you want to marry me or you're going to lose me.
Wow.
So I'm just like.
Bars.
What?
Really?
Phone quiet. I'm just. So in my head, I'm just thinking like, in my head, the pride in me is like, well, all right, whatever. 2 years, I'm done with you. Like I got 2 years to, hey, you know what I'm saying? I was sometimes like tell her in a way where I know the emotion's not going to affect her to act out. So instead of like, yeah, my boss told me to go take some shoes to her house. That's crazy, right? I would say, hey, it came to an issue. My boss left her shoes at the office. I have to take them. But instead of me taking them, do you want to come with me? So, dude, so
that is
I said, yes, I want to come with you. We're going to drive to her house. I'm going to come outside the house, stay at the door, and say, hello, I'm Mrs. McBride.
But instead, I got that. I didn't get why. Yes, why are you going there? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Are you and her doing this and doing that? And it's just like, no.
You're learning your wife.
Yeah, so.
Who trained you? Good God. That was like you involved her in the solution.
Yeah.
That's an expert level game, sir. I'm so proud of you.
That was very smart.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll edit it out. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's all over.
Wait, is there like an intro? Is there like an intro?
This
line?
is the intro, Chloe. She don't watch.
Yeah.
I do watch.
3.
Action.
Welcome back. I'm Heath.
I'm Bernie.
And it's the Heath and Bernie show. Yeah.
Yes, we're still doing that intro, guys.
What's up, people? This is Heath. I'm Heath. This is Bernie. And we are a Black Christian married couple.
You normally say I'm Heath, and then I say I'm Bernie.
We did that already.
So
I'm
you
Heath.
repeated it?
I'm Bernie. It's the Heath and Bernie show. We did that.
Okay,
and
sorry.
then when I come back in, I say,
Okay, I'm sorry, I
welcome back.
forgot.
Thank y'all for joining us. This is Bernie. She's got me all confused and messed up.
I'm sorry.
But anyway,
Sorry.
I got to edit all this out.
It's okay.
Anyway, what do you do when you meet, when you're young and you fall in love and everything's all wonderful? And then you get married and then you're full of hope and promise. And then life happens. What actually changes after you come up the aisle? We are here today with a special guest. Special guest, part of the Marriage 2022 class, the class of 2022. Rob and Chloe McBride. Shout out to Rob and Chloe McBride.
Oh,
Yay. So this episode, we're talking about like what has changed since you've been married. The things that I'm not talking about, like, you know, are you not still in love, and are you not still full of hope and promise? Because, you know, you wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Correct.
But like, what are some of the things that you didn't know that you needed after you got married? What are some of the things that you needed to purge that you from yourself that you thought you were going to bring into marriage, but it didn't work? What are some of the things that you needed help with that you weren't aware that you needed help with until you got married, until you found out yourself you was lacking? What are those things? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Sounds really personal.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first, because then that justifies what I'm going to say.
Wow. Make sure you don't say anything.
No, but it's going to be light because it's some of the things that you all have experienced, and the reason why we're doing this whole newly married couples this season is because there's a lot of confusion and there's a lot of chaos brewing in those people who are newly married. And one of the things that we are trying to shed light on is like, what are some of the challenges that people who are newly married go through, and try to instead of us just sitting on here telling you know this is what y'all should do, just have a you and hear how you all have done it, because let's see if what I think that they have done it successfely. But you know, we'll see.
That's how it looks.
We'll see. That's how it looks on the outside.
We trying.
But before we get into that, we definitely want to.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
You're not gonna put that up there.
I am going to put it up there.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
I
I was just because I don't want to put my glasses. Never mind. Okay, just edit all this out.
So what we want to ask you is,
Or don't.
how long have you been married? If you are watching this, please, if this is interesting for you, please like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe button. You know what they say on YouTube. I feel uncomfortable saying that because it just doesn't feel right to me. But like and subscribe, and then put also in the chat if you're married, if you're newly married, if you're part of that newly married wedding class. Tell us how long you've been married, and then that will be good information for us to know, so you can connect with us. So today, I wanted to say that, just let everybody know that we're going to be on big uncle and auntie energy today.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, because we are, Chloe is our niece. And shout out to the Redmonds, who are Chloe's parents, Pam and Eric. We want to definitely shout out them because we would not be who we are today without their parents, without her parents, well, their parents.
Right.
The Redmonds were, which is Chloe's maiden name. The Redmonds were our mentor couple, and we spent years hanging out with them, going over to their house. That's where we know Chloe from, because
little girl.
Chloe, we met Chloe
in the grass.
We met.
You rake leaves.
Like I had them over because I had this is our first house.
Torque Street.
This is our first. Was I married? Yeah, we were married.
Torque Street.
I needed some help raking some leaves, and so
You had all the three girls.
I had all the three girls.
Chloe did that?
Yes.
Oh,
they,
man.
were too young to know. Not
It was fun.
Okay.
And then he took us to McDonald's and got us whatever we wanted.
Yeah. I mean, bribe a kid with some McDonald's, some French fries.
Back then, that's all.
And look, that's what I learned. You all had your dad had a French fry tax offering. French fry offering. He said, because whenever they bought y'all French fries, y'all had to give him an offering of your French fries. I was like, that is great.
They gave a tenth of the fries.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much.
Even though he already had fries.
Yes, but it didn't matter. You owe your parents
That's
a
a good
French fry.
concept to learn.
It was great.
Yeah.
But
And then eventually we started just giving it to him without him even asking us.
Oh, see?
that's how you do it. That's parent pimping right there. Yeah, so we want to shout out the Redmonds, Pam and Eric Redmonds, our roomies.
We was over there so much.
We was over there.
Yeah.
First of all, we met Chloe when she was 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how long, and we'll get into the age range. We won't tell how old they are, but the age range. We met Chloe when she was 4. And you want to tell them about the Tish incident?
I was just about to bring that
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we were in church one time. I think Pam was holding Chloe.
Candace,
was Candace?
Candace.
Oh, yes. Okay, Candace. Candace was a baby. Pam was holding Candace, and
Candace is the youngest sister.
yeah, and Candace was a baby, and I can't remember what.
I would need to blow my nose, and I blew my nose, and I asked her what to do with it.
Okay, and I don't know what she told you.
And she told me to hold it or whatever.
Well, Chloe just didn't want to hold it, so she threw that tissue in church, and it was like a torpedo. It went like all the way high across. She threw it across like in the aisle, and Pam was like, "Hold her!" And, like threw me the baby, and was like grabbing Chloe, like, "Come on," whatever. But it was hilarious. So
Yeah, and from that moment on, she became Tish.
Yeah, we've been calling her Tish since then because she threw that tissue. It was hilarious.
I got tore up in the back.
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah. But we've known Chloe almost her whole life, and have seen her and her sisters and brothers raised, and we kind of helped raise them a little bit. We were the cool uncle and auntie that when they would they
favorite uncle and auntie.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Whenever they would come over, so it was a big deal when Chloe was starting to date.
I would bring all my troubles to Uncle Heath.
Yes, and so we're gonna get into some of that.
No.
We're gonna get into no
flashback.
No. We're gonna get into some of the arc of how you ended up where you are now, married and stuff with Rob.
Cool.
So just by way of background, your age range is in the late 20s.
Well, I just hit a milestone.
Wait a minute. When was it? It was
30.
March. It was just March.
Oh my gosh.
You just turned. It was like a couple weeks ago.
January.
28th. Yes, January.
Whose birthday is in March? Your mom's birthday is in March. Okay.
Yeah.
And your dad's birthday is in
January.
Okay. So, you're 30 now, Ernie.
No, you're girl, please.
So you're third. Okay, yeah, and you're in your late 20s. You are both. You've been married for 1 year. You haven't made that 2 year spread. Y'all are in the late 2022 November wedding. And then you all, where you are typically normally from?
Where we're from? Like where we were born?
Yeah, like where you from? Like where were you raised?
Well, I was born in Dallas, Texas. Go Cowboys. But I grew up in Prince George's County. Pretty Girl County.
Oh, Pretty Girl County.
Pretty Girl County.
She told me.
Wow,
I can't wait till we get into that story.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Okay, I guess we won't tell that part yet.
I'm from D.C., but I was raised in Oxnard. So
Okay. Maryland. You were Maryland, in PG County, Maryland. That's
Pretty Girl County.
When you all, so for context, like what was your single life like before you all started seriously dating? Like from a professional career wise, from a relationship wise, and from a socially wise. Like what were y'all doing then?
for me, I didn't really talk. I hung out with my friends, but it was more like we'll go play basketball or, we'll go to the field or something like that.
Go to the field?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
what field? Like
Football?
Football field.
And like,
I mean, you said football field like we know that.
No,
You thought I was a
field.
slave picking cotton?
I don't know.
You said the field. You
Yeah, I don't know what you doing in the field. I don't know what
No.
kind of activities y'all do in Oxfordville.
Okay, it's crazy. But we'll do that. My single life, I didn't really take serious. It was more of like, I wasn't ready yet, so I knew that. So I'm not about to like, oh yeah, we're gonna be something just like, whatever. You hear it because you hear it, and when I'm tired with you, just.
but you told girls that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
You told girls what?
That
I wasn't ready. Like I don't relationship. Like we just. And
So was that like, okay, I'm not ready, but
it was more of a
hey, shorty.
like yeah.
Hey, young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like listen, like young, listen, like I ain't. This ain't me right
What
now.
is that phrase? I'm here for a short time, not a long time.
I'm here
Yeah.
for a fun time.
Oh, there you go. Clean it up for me.
Okay.
So that was my approach. It was more because like I always told myself, like people talk about marriage, I was like, oh man, I got so long to go. When I get 55, that's when I'm gonna get married.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That was your thoughts?
Yeah.
That's what he
Why-
literally told me.
Did you think 55 was old or something?
No, I just thought that's the year of marriage.
He told me that when we
Seriously?
first started dating.
Yeah, I thought that was the year of marriage.
So why 50? I mean, why so long in the future? And when you were in your, I guess, early 20s.
I got a long life. I'm gonna live.
You don't want, and
But-
you
but-
want to live it with somebody?
I don't understand. Like, why
Why?
did you think 55 was like, oh yeah, that's about the right time?
I just thought like 55, either I'm gonna be retired or manage a business by then. So I thought like I'd be ready to settle down. Things
Like
gonna
your-
slow
his
up a
life
little
would be
bit.
together.
It'd be a little slower. Not saying my life wasn't together, but it would just be a little slower. I'd be like, okay, little wife around here, probably a dog or a cat, whatever.
Dang.
And at 55, you like, yeah, that's about a
Yeah, I was
good
like
range.
55. That's
And what age were you thinking of this? At what age did this idea formulate in your mind?
I want to say when I was in college, before I got injured, like I always picture like, okay, I'm going to the NFL. This is what I'm gonna do. And I said, okay, I'm gonna live my life.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy the
That makes
jewels.
sense.
I'm gonna buy the
Yeah.
shoes. I'm gonna live the life, take the pictures, whatever. Do what I'm gonna do. And then I'm just like, I'm gonna retire. I'll probably retire in the field, or if I don't make it far in the field, whatever I'm gonna do, retire around like 40. When I'm 40, I'm still living my life, travel a lot with my family. 55. I'm gonna find me a shorty and get married.
That was the
Okay, all right. I mean, that makes sense. That you made that make sense.
Yeah.
Because before it wasn't making sense. It's like
You're
just
like, why
55.
is it
Like,
so far in the future?
Like, you just want to be alone all that time? That don't make no sense.
no, he wasn't gonna be alone.
Well,
That was it. He's gonna be in the NFL. He gonna, in the
Well,
30s.
when he said the
Yeah.
NFL, it made sense.
Yeah.
It was just people running through in and out. And,
Yeah.
sorry.
bad.
Sorry. I not you, but other NFL people. I don't know what I'm saying. Move on. Heath, come on.
Help us out. Something.
Right. Next.
Chloe. No, but Rob. So, career-wise, what were you doing at the time? And career-wise.
That I was more in the real estate and project management phase. So as I was doing that, I want to say like life kind of hit me because when you start dating, you're like, I guess it's cool. And then, but career wise, that's what I was doing. So I fell in love with that.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
you were in project management, real estate project management. and then you were doing that, and you kind of just were out here in these streets.
Basically. That's the nice way of putting it.
What's the main way of putting it?
I'm not going to say it. Keep it to myself.
Chloe, what about you? What were you doing career-wise, socially, and then relationally?
I feel like I was just hanging out with my friends. After I'd gone through a serious relationship, I told myself I was just going to stay single for a while and get used to like knowing myself and be okay with being alone. So I actually didn't date for probably like a year or two or a year and a half. I just kind of hung out with my friends, went to church, focused on work. I was a communication specialist at the time as a government contractor. And then I also put myself in grad school. So I basically had no life. I was going to work every day. Occasionally when I could hang out with friends, I would do that. And then I was just doing schoolwork all night. That's kind of like what I was doing.
Your story sounds so familiar when I look at all these.
Oh, and I bought a house. I had to put that in there.
Okay. Yes. You bought a house. That's right. Your story sounds so familiar to a lot of what I see on social media about Black women who are educated, who have a degree, who are single, who got out of a relationship and have to work on themselves and just heal and then spend time in the relationship and then just be out in the clubs with the Instagram, social media, on popping, twerking, all that stuff, but then going to church on Sunday. I don't know if you was twerking in the club like that.
That wasn't me.
I don't know. But that story sounds so familiar. Do you know a lot of other people that were you in the same space that you were in at the time? Like you talked about, you were hanging out with your friends. Were they all in the same space of like, I'm not in a relationship, I'm just working on me, I'm just gonna be single out here and stuff?
I think a lot of my girlfriends were in that space. A lot of them were single. Even like my best friends, they were single at the time. So it was like we were doing things together, and that's where we could spend a lot of time together. Two of my closest friends, I want to say Mariah, Jasmine, we were all single at the time. So I remember like we would travel together. We would go on like crazy trips together. So it was just a lot of time just spending time with my friends.
And I asked that because one of the elements of relationships, the pathway of relationships, is that people's journeys, the individual journeys, is normally comes after, from what I've seen, it normally comes after like a serious relationship gone bad, and then it's like a moment, a period of like aloneness, and then what's going on? Oh,
what happened?
The event that's I have on my calendar.
You hooked your phone to my thing?
Of course I did.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
How else you going to get onto it?
But I got you sent this in my email.
I know.
But this beings like your phone.
I know. I had to hook my account up to that.
Okay.
Anyway, but the period of aloneness, then like, okay, a resurgence back into the relationship arena, if you will. And that was kind of the arc you took, and that was kind of the arc that your friends chose. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was in a bad relationship, and then I was like, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm
Same.
just done. I don't even. And so me and Heath was just friends at the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
But why do women do that?
because we're disgusted.
We're appalled.
Right.
We're like, we can't believe we allowed ourselves to go through that.
We're like,
We're gonna make ourselves 10 times better. So like, if that person
I think
ever
my process
resurfaced,
just more-
not that they would, like, we would be so up here that it's like I wouldn't even think.
I just thought
that person.
men process, we just like, that ain't work out. Next. That ain't work out.
y'all go running into the fire for more. Like, to try
and I feel like
others.
women just try to like better themselves. I don't know. I feel like better
But
themselves.
why better yourself is...
Because maybe you weren't bettering yourself during the relationship.
Well,
But why were you doing it during
I didn't feel like...
just don't ask questions.
I don't think I was trying to... Because mine was real crazy, so it wasn't about me. It was about that craziness. So I don't think I was trying to better myself. I was trying to just stay out of the craziness of what just... encountered near me. So I thought everything was crazy after that scenario. So I was like, never mind. Maybe I'm just supposed to be single.
That, and when you're working on bettering yourself, you're also like not, I guess you're focusing on that and like so for example, I went to go get a degree, so all of my time is filled up with that. I'm not
so
focusing.
Right.
I'm not thinking about the negative or whatever. I'm bettering myself, and I'm also not thinking about that, and it's helping me move past whatever it was.
Okay.
Right.
The I'm not gonna say the real reason, but the impetus of all of that is the stuff that Rob and I were doing.
Exactly.
It's like we're not ready for a serious relationship.
Yeah.
But you know, we will entertain situationships.
It's what
multiple
men
ones.
do.
Yeah.
You know, to suit our needs, whatever they are at the time. And so when you pull a woman's in especially in that age range where it's like, okay, the natural arc of life is you go to college, you get out, you get a relationship, you get married, have family, children, and so forth. And when you think when women think that's what it's going to be, and it's not that, it's like, okay, the life and the potential that I was buying into, the hope that I was buying into has been dashed. And so it's like, oh, that's just such a big letdown. And then a lot of women, they stay in the relationship because they are in love with the relationship, not the person with whom they're on a relationship with.
That's true.
So it's like, I don't want this relationship to end because I tied my future to this relationship.
And my identity.
And so it's like, I don't want to lose that because then I have to start over. And this market, the market sucks out here. So that's why it's so hurtful for women, whereas guys were like, okay, let me look for the next one. And they're out there because they're looking for their sort of picket fence kind of dream. But I think I brought this line of question up, Chloe, because that is the arc that women take, and men have a different arc. And I was wondering if, like, in your circle, how many of your friends have taken that arc, and it was that normalized in your friend circle, that kind of this path and this kind of relationship dynamic.
Basically, like, if you break up, going on to like better yourself.
Well, going on with having a moment, a period of like, I'm not messing with nobody.
I don't think that's all women.
No, I'm not asking. I know it's not all women. I'm asking, in your friend circle, was that common amongst you all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, maybe in their own ways they kind of did that, but my friends, maybe because a lot of my friends were single for a long time, so I wouldn't really be able to analyze them in that way to know, okay, they went through this breakup and we're kind of doing the same thing.
Okay.
A lot in my close friendships, a lot of the times I was the one in the relationship, and a lot of my friends were single, but I do have one of my close friends, she went on to get multiple degrees. It wasn't just, I'm going to get my master's. I'm going to go on and get my 2 masters and a doctorate. So I think there were some friends that I had that did that. And there were others who were like, okay, we're just going to go party, hang out, live our life, and have fun until someone shows up.
Yeah.
Cool. So why did you want to get married? Not talk about how y'all married, but why did y'all want to get married? Like, you, Rob, had a 55 and older plan. You was trying to live in the senior community by the time you trying to find somebody in the senior community.
55 plus.
Why? What made you want to get married?
Me.
Trying to get that.
Me.
You trying to...
I don't think he was thinking about marriage before he met me. I kind of said, I mean,
we was
gonna be
talking
with
on the
me.
phone. We was planning our date. And she was like, how you feel about marriage? I was like, well, marriage, I think, is about, like, for older people when you get, like, 55. Dang. She was like, older people? She was like, you got 2 years to think about if you want to marry me or you're going to lose me.
Wow.
So I'm just like...
Bars.
What?
Really?
Phone quiet. I'm just... So in my head, I'm just thinking, like, in my head, the pride in me is like, well, all right, whatever. 2 years, I'm done with you. Like I got 2 years to, hey, you know what I'm saying? But then as time goes on, I'm like, dang, hold up. I really like this girl. Like, what's going on? So on our first date, before that, we was talking on the phone. We was talking on the phone, and we slept on the phone, and...
Y'all slept on the phone?
Yeah. Y'all slept on the phone.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, I really like this girl. So...
Because he didn't do that with nobody else. Sorry, go ahead.
Don't put all my personal business. Don't put my personal business. Chloe.
I'm sorry. A lot of people slept on the phone, Rob. It's okay.
No, I said that because we had another couple that we interviewed that they fell asleep on the phone, and that was the thing that made her feel like, okay, yeah, this is...
Oh, for real? Yeah,
yeah,
so I guess that's the thing now.
Yeah, that's what y'all corny niggas be doing.
Hey, look, I I'm happy to say it. I was a simp. Like,
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't call yourself a simp. You said you was in love. You knew what you wanted. You was committed to it.
And when I knew, I was like, man, it ain't gonna take me 2 years.
I think he was.
I know it. Like,
I think he was trying to like propose to me. I know we're hopping around. I think we got engaged in March, April. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was like January, December he was talking about it. I was like, oh, wait, we gotta go to marriage counseling. Slow down.
And I was just like, sign it up. Let's do it. Like, whatever we gotta do. Like,
so what was it about?
What shifted your mind to like, okay, this is it?
I want to say the way she had the love for God. You know, I don't really hear women talk about that. And that was something like in my age I was getting closer to, like reading the Bible, you know, shifting my music around, shifting my area environment around. So it's more like that. I'm like, okay, you know the Bible. Okay, that's nice. You know, that's good to hear. You know, she can say, look, stripper to you. And it's just like, sometimes it's like, look.
Hold on, what'd you say?
Did you say a scripture?
Yeah.
Sound like you said she could give you something like a strip or two.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
I'll like tell him why not to do something. I'll like give him a scripture. He'll be like.
And sometimes I'd be like, listen. But then as I calm down, I'm like, you know what? You're right. You got it. And so, you know, it's just a lot of ways I want to say also just I talked about things and it wasn't more of like, you know, some women are like, they don't understand what you're talking about and they just play like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
She wasn't like that. She wasn't like, I'm going to ride on, I'm going to tell you my opinion. This is what it is. I think that's stupid. And it's just like,
Chloe.
What you mean that's stupid? Like, but then you think about it, you write on a book, nah, that's stupid. So you like, nah, that is stupid. I ain't even going to do that. Like, she right, I ain't going to do that. So it means like, oh, so you really know what you're talking about. You're not just like riding along like, oh, you know, you got the money car, whatever. You just like, no, I'm with you. I like you, but I ain't gonna let you out here embarrass me. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's what made me like her. Like, and I was like,
it sounds like she
was helpmating at the beginning.
Yeah. So
and she kind of
don't say that. Sling her hair.
She did that for real.
And she was bad. So it was just like so yeah, that was the whole thing. So
thank you.
That's a very good. I'm not even gonna mess that up. I have so many jokes and Jones that I could say, but I'm not gonna mess that up. Good. That's a very.
That's how it's supposed to happen.
It is.
That's
I mean,
exactly
I respect Chloe's game.
Hey, hold on, Chloe. If we want to be real, I spit the game to you. Let's be real. Chloe, stop. Look. My game was crazy.
Oh, okay.
So talk about not to go toe for toe, but talk about like what is it when you knew that she was the one, like how'd you like go at her, like how'd you convince her?
Convince me to marry him? Or?
No, I mean like
talking.
like because y'all were just.
So we met on Hinge for one.
Okay.
The Hinge.
All right.
And I just
you said Hinge. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a dating app.
The dating app. So how I all went around. My friend Amba, he lives in Atlanta. I went to Atlanta with some friends, and he was like talking about he's about to get engaged, and I was just like, dang, like that's nice, that's cool. It's kind of like I'm in the streets, but then I hear one of my friends that's supposed to be in the streets with me getting engaged. I'm just like, I kind of got jealous. Like, I'm just like, dang, bro, you out here finding love? Like,
oh my goodness, you out here finding love?
I'm like,
with that?
You love her?
You don't love this? Like, what we doing? So he's like, nah, I know I'm about to get engaged. She's home. I cooked dinner for her. So I'm in my head, I'm like, that's kind of nice. But I'm like, and here I am out here, like, they don't love me for real. Like, dang, I'm like, all right. So he's like, I met her on Hinge. He was like, here, let me see your phone, download this. As soon as I download it in Atlanta, I matched with her. So
really?
Yes, we're talking while I'm in Atlanta. I'm getting on the plane. I'm like, yeah, so where you from? Whatever, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm from Pretty Girl County. I'm like, oh, I've never been there before.
Pretty Girl County?
Yeah, she was like, you never been to PG County? I'm saying, yes, but I haven't been to Pretty Girl County. So she stopped texting me. So I'm like, nah, she too bad.
He double text.
She too bad. I'm about to double text, like, this about to be me. So I double text her, like, listen, how about this? Text my phone so we get off this app. And then so she texted my first, then, she called me out of nowhere, FaceTiming, I'm in bed. She's like, well, I only see half your face. I'm like, because I'm in bed. But yeah, that's how we met. And
Okay.
Locked in ever since.
Yeah, smooth ever since.
Wow.
So, Chloe, talk about why you wanted to get married, and also, well, go ahead.
I feel like because that's kind of what I saw growing up. Both of my parents were married and have been married. Well, both my parents have been married for a long time. My grandparents on both sides have been married, so it's kind of like that's what you do. You grow up, go to school, and eventually get married. So it's kind of like the example that was set for me. Mm-hmm. But one of the reasons why I knew that Rob was the one, or that moving forward with marriage is something that I wanted, is because when we first started dating.
Go ahead, put my president. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
When we first started dating, I sat him down on the couch. Not that I thought that he was out there or whatever, but you could kind of tell like when guys are kind of doing their thing. Okay. And I kind of just got serious with him and was like, I mean, if you want to move forward with me, I will only date you for about 2 years. And then if you don't want to get married, then it's basically over.
Wow. So you said that as a ground rule in the beginning.
Yes. Even after the phone, I said it to him. And then I also told him, I'm like, I'm not going to sleep with you. So, I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm really focused on my relationship with God. And if you don't want that, then I'm out. And I'm thinking, wow. Like, I like him, but I'm like, he probably one of them guys like, yeah, that's not cool. And he was like, okay, that's cool. And I was just like.
What made you say, Bernie, could you mute this? What made you say, okay, that's cool?
Because he really liked me.
Can I answer? No, I mean, I liked it, and it was, she ain't say it like smooth like that.
Yes, I did.
She
I was real serious. About
it, like, so it was like, I really had no option.
I wasn't like calm. I was like real, like sitting
in
like,
my face. So it was like one of those meetings like, look, you here or you fired. So it is what it is. So I was just like, I like it.
And cool. Some guys say okay, but then they like, they're not really like about that. Like he was like, no, like if this is what you want, I'm cool with it. Yeah. So I feel like that kind of really stood out for me because especially my age range, a lot of guys aren't like that. They're kind of like, okay, bye.
How old were you at the time? You were like
27?
Yeah. I was 26.
27.
Okay.
So
you're 27?
27. Yes, because he threw me a surprise 28th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was 27.
For your golden year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Shout out to Rob and Chloe. For those of you all who are watching, please let us know how long you have been married, or why. What's the question?
Why did you get married?
Why did you get married? So if you are married, if you're newly married, why did you get married? Put it in the comments why you got married, and then also if you're not married or if you're engaged, put in the comments why you want to get married to the person that you're with. That would be good information. And please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button and do all the things. I feel like
you have to
you're
say
official.
It.
I feel like this just feels like.
I just said subscribe. I always forget the beginning part.
This is a good conversation. We actually are in the next part of the topic that we want to talk about, where about how you all met and like what prompted you all to get married. So we're at the part where she told you like, I'm not having sex and it's going to be, this is what it's going to be. And you was like, okay, bet. So like, how did you all decide that, okay, we're going to move forward? And then what was life like after that? But I also want to talk about, Chloe, your misperception about what it took to enter into like a serious committed relationship. Because we had a conversation. We had two conversations. No. We had two conversations. I'm gonna keep it on the level, and you can take it wherever you want to go. Okay. We had two conversations about how you transition from, okay, we're just dating, to okay, we're seriously in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And you had a way that you thought it should go, but it wasn't going that way. Yeah. And you were talking about like not really knowing if he was the one, and how to determine that. Mm-hmm. And we had a conversation about like, okay, does he do these things for you? Does he make you feel this way? Is he considerate of your needs? Mm-hmm. Is he considerate of your perspectives? Is he considerate of your desires? And if he is, then it's worth moving forward.
I remember that conversation. It was at our house, and Carlos was there, and it was like a group of us, and we were all talking.
And you were like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. I just thought it was supposed to be like, oh, I just feel this way. And
okay.
Okay, thank you.
And then
I don't remember the conversation, but I remember saying that.
I was like, let me see a picture. And then you show me a picture. I was like, oh. What?
Stop it.
No. Sorry. I was just kidding.
So the perception that you had was like you were just supposed to, like, what I'm trying to get in your mind, because I really didn't understand it at the time. Like, what were you really thinking that you were supposed to, how you were going to understand or know or be convinced that this was like he was the one?
Before you would give him even a chance at the time, right? Mm-hmm. She hadn't even they weren't actually together.
They were talking. They were
talking.
Yeah.
A few days.
And we were, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I don't really remember the conversation fully, but I'm thinking it was probably out of a place of concern and hurt, because I had been through a relationship where it's like, okay, well, you do all these things, you think that it's going to the next step, and then it doesn't.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, I can't remember the conversation fully, but I'm thinking that's probably where my mind was. Mm-hmm. And so I was probably trying to rush it and say okay, well, I should probably feel all these things up front and automatically know that this person is the one.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to have to go through 3 or 4 years and then it'd be okay, this person isn't the one. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of where my mind was at that point. And it's I'm supposed to just start dating this person and just feel and automatically know. I want to feel and automatically know so I don't waste any time.
Yeah. And you were trying to rush all those feelings that should be right now.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it was. You were trying to rush all those feelings.
And we were saying, just date.
And those feelings will develop over time. But is he a solid person? Does he do these things? Is he considerate of these things? Not that he's
I feel like we didn't, even with those questions, I hadn't even given enough time to know if that's exactly what he was going to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't even even opening up to even go there.
Yeah, we just.
I'm I need to know right now, today.
Right, yeah.
Dang.
It's I have to know if I'm going to fall in love and be in love with him forever.
No, Chloe.
And then I can say, okay, we can be in a relationship.
Yes.
No, we can start dating at that point.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing. Yes. That's exactly what you're doing.
Poor Rob. You okay now, though?
It was so crazy, because it was you want to have all of this confirmation
up front,
and I see, oh my gosh, we were burning our
stressed.
But it's crazy that you said, because we I guess it's probably after that we talked about it a little bit.
Probably after that conversation,
we talked a little bit. She was like, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little too hard on you. And she started telling me things she wants, open my door, take me more on dates. And, I was just like, okay. You got it. Let's go. Meet my family, meet my sister. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I personally, y'all don't have to acknowledge it, but I personally take credit for y'all being together, because
no, we give you a lot of credit. Because I said, let me tell you something. We had that meeting with Uncle Eve, and we talking to Uncle Eve. He be spitting some facts. After you all got married, it was a beautiful wedding, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Had a great time.
Oh yeah.
I still didn't get my white floor, but that's a story for another day.
Oh my gosh.
But keep going.
So the transition into marriage, how did you transition from a single mindset into the married mindset? Because Bernie had some comments about that.
I do?
Yes.
Was it hard for you?
No, about questions for you all.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. We talked about this.
So, how do we transition?
Well, hold on.
She's about to ask.
So, I'm just going to ask you a series of questions, and you guys could take turns to answer. So, what was it like living with someone for the first time?
Hold on. Before we get there, okay, Bernie, this question was for you. Transition from
you
single.
You said it, so I didn't repeat it. You just said.
But I wanted you to elaborate on that, because you wanted to ask Rob a question about the podcast. Remember that conversation?
Yes, but I didn't know you wanted me to talk about that to Rob. I didn't know. I thought you were saying, remember, because you had questions about Rob, this is why I want you to do this part. So you actually want me to ask Rob about that?
Yes, I want you to ask Rob. Remember, we sat over there last night, and I said I want you to ask Rob about that.
Hilarious. Yes. It should be in the bloopers.
No, but I know we sat over there and talked about this, but I didn't understand that you actually want me to talk about his podcast and the stuff that I didn't know you actually wanted me to say that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I actually said I wanted you to do.
No, I thought you wanted me to do that because I had those thoughts that you wanted me to do this.
Because you had those thoughts, I wanted you to talk about that.
I know, but you want me to talk about those thoughts too.
Yes.
Aren't you saying that? Yes. But before I do this, you want me to talk about... Okay.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
So
And
now that I have the complete understanding, so a few times...
This is what 26 years of marriage looks like. You thought that communication was an issue now? It's still going to be one.
So the reason why he's bringing this up about mindset and transitions, let me read the transition from single mindset to married mindset, is because Heath used to work with you with a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And I forget what the topic was because I seen a piece, one of them when you guys did. I don't remember what the topic was or whatever, but when I was watching it, I was like, why is Rob talking like he's still single? Everything he's saying, I'm like, clout. I was like, I'm gonna have a conversation with him. Why is he talking like he's not married? So that's what he was. So that's why this mindset. So yeah, when I was watching that, I was like, I'm gonna have a conversation with him.
So what was happening was when we were doing the podcast, you would lead with the hot topic questions or the trending questions that was always around dating and from the single perspective. Mm-hmm. And so you would like, so what do y'all think about 50-50? Or what do y'all think about this dating issue? And then you'd be like, I think that men should date so-and-so.
So, Birdie, in that type of space of Birdie,
he wanted clout and publicity and views.
Listen.
This all right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, let him answer.
I couldn't be, how can I say? I knew if I asked Uncle Heath, he would speak. But if I just sit there and say, well, marriage is good, everyone's gonna be like, okay. So I had to tell him, like, give my perspective and be real to the people. Like, this is how I feel, this is what it is. But at the same time, I didn't want to talk about, my marriage is fine, which my marriage is like the phenomenal thing of my life. So it's just like,
clean it up.
Me keep saying that over and over and over and over. It's people just like, so
they wouldn't listen.
They'd be like, blah.
So I want to be like, actually talk to the people like how you guys feel. So I want to talk about my years before my marriage, how I felt about things.
Okay.
Yeah. So then as we got into marriage, I would talk about, well, now this is how I feel about marriage. Like marriage, I feel as though like if the man is the house, it should be 100%. Like he should be putting 100% into things as well as the woman should be 100% of things. Now, if the woman can't put 100% of things, but the man still putting 100%, he's still, covering for everything. So that was just my perspective of everything. So.
Okay. So again, he was doing it for clout.
I wouldn't call it clout.
Well,
it was
views, or like he didn't want the conversation to be boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was facilitating a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just drag.
Well, and I think if you would have said like you just said now, you said, well, before I got married, da 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 da. You did not say that.
You're right.
You just start talking like, well, the dating, the women, I thought, what are we doing? But no, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. So now can I?
Now you can go.
Easy. And then it goes away. So, talking about transitions from single mindset to married mindset. Okay, it went away. What was it like living with someone for the first time?
I feel like, me?
Go.
I feel like it was fun. Like he would just be there. It's like, I come home and he's here. Or it's like, we can hang out on Saturdays and wake up and he's here. Like, I don't have to like schedule time or like go to his house or him come over. It's like he's just here. So that was the fun part. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things adjusting to living together was also like our schedules. I think that's something that we're still trying to figure out. Like, what time do we go to the gym? What time should dinner be cooked? So I feel like that's a piece of it. I do remember one point where I was just like, this is kind of hard. I remember he walked into the master bathroom and he had his shoes on, and I was just like, wait, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
But he wasn't like thinking about it. He just walked in, and then it was just kind of like, okay, well, this is maybe what he does, or he
Hold on, so walking in the master bathroom with your shoes on is a thing?
Like you would take them off. It's your bathroom where you're about to get dressed and everything.
Like regular shoes or outside shoes?
Like outside shoes.
Oh.
Okay.
And so me, that was like, I'm saying that was normal to him. For me, I was like, wait a minute, this is not just your house. Maybe Rob walks in the bathroom with his shoes on. And like to other people, that wouldn't be a big thing. But in my head, that was like, okay, well, this is a piece of adjusting / like having those kind of conversations.
Do you take your shoes off at the front door? And leave shoes at the door?
But it's just kind of like, it's your bathroom, whatever. I know Rob's like, you never said this to me. Like, I didn't really bring it up after that. It was kind of like, wait, what's going on here? But it's like, oh, wait, we're living together. This is what he does. Okay. I'm not about to be like, oh my gosh, you need to like take your shoes off and like freak out on him. So I feel like, but I feel like when we first got married, that kind of like stuck out in my head. Like, this is different, but it's like our house together. So I can't, I don't know. I feel like that was a piece of adjusting too. Like, it's our house. This is no longer just like my space or whatever. So I feel like that was...
you moved into the house that she had bought. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now it's y'all's house. We had the same thing. I bought the house and then she
I moved in.
Which is smart. Anyway. So
I know that sounds small, but it was just like, I guess that first thing that happened was kind of like, okay, like you're in this transition period and I mean, things are going to be kind of different.
Yeah.
That's very mature of how you handled it. You didn't even know that.
That's why he didn't even know that.
Good job, Chloe.
Yeah,
Good job, Chloe.
Now I'm just like, you don't like my shoes in the like all the times I got my dress shoes on to get dressed.
I just let it flow.
Rob, what was it like for you moving in, living with somebody for the first time?
It was kind of rough.
Okay, here we go. Come on.
Because I'm a type of person like when I set my schedule to be around you, my energy is to be around you.
Oh, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
But once
that's true.
Once I have my energy of not be around nobody, I don't want to be around nobody. Like sometimes I don't even talk to myself. Like I'm just there.
That is crazy. Like I don't even talk to myself.
So you got an internal man cave.
Yeah.
Like, to carry around with you.
And she was like, what are you thinking about? I was like, I'm just relaxing.
Or I'll be like, or I would come downstairs like, you want to hang out? And he's like, I'm just chilling. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's times like I just be drawing, or I'm just like, just sitting there relaxing, just to myself right now. So sometimes Chloe would come in there. I'm laying in bed, just relaxing. She'd just jump on me, and I'd just be like, what are you doing? She was like, well, I just want to hang out. I was just like, okay. So it was kind of
like we're still working through
it was a struggle for me because sometimes I would just go downstairs and relax, and she just like want to snuggle under me, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do this right now, but I got to because I'm married to you, and I want you to hate me, but come here.
That's so real.
I'm just like, I love you too, but I want you upstairs.
No, what did you say to me? You said, because we had a conversation one time, and he said, I want you. Because I was like, oh, well, I'll just go hang out with my friends or I'll just leave so you can have your own space. He was like, no, I want you in the house, just not by me. And I'm like,
I get
Bernie
it.
be saying that.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm like, I don't get that.
Because she's an extrovert. She likes to be around people. Me, I'm an introvert. I don't really like to be, I like to be around people that I'm comfortable and I trust. Like, I could come around you guys a lot. Like, hang out, we can laugh, joke. But then when it's like meeting new people, I'm very like, I don't really want to talk.
He's silent.
Yeah, that's me.
I remember doing our podcast when we were shooting them, and then we would go out to eat afterwards. It was like, and Tay also the same thing. Mm-hmm. Tay's even worse than you. Your cousin Tay. But when we would go out, we would be in the podcast. It'd be the energy be real high, like
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we go to the restaurant, we get seated, and then Rob is like this, and Tay's like this. I'm like, hey, what?
But that's awesome.
I thought we was about to kick it. I thought we was about to hey. But it's like y'all have withdrawn. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's his introvert self, and sometimes it's that, and sometimes he just needs food.
That is true.
I realized that about him. We'll like be in the car. He'll just be real quiet. I'm like, Rob, what's wrong? Da da. He'll just be like, I'm just relaxing. I'm just chilling. I'm like, you want to get some food? And then like after he eats, then he's like motor mouth, like talking down.
Don't
like,
no, I've seen it. He give a biscuit.
You are embarrassing. Get away from me.
Oh my God.
I've seen it. When we went to the Cheesecake Factory after one night, I can't remember where, I think we were coming from one of the podcasts. We went to the Cheesecake Factory, and while we were sitting there, it's like everybody was talking. It was like 6, 7 of us, and everybody was talking, and Rob was like,
yes.
And then that food came. He was like, ho, 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 ho. He's like, ooh, okay, all right, yeah. So, what we say over Heath? I'm like, stop, Rob, you were.
Even to the point that my mom has picked up on it because I told her. So we'll be at her house and she'd be like, you want a sandwich, Rob?
Just feed him. He'll talk. Wow, Rob. It's okay, Rob.
I told you that put in my person.
It's okay, Rob.
Why would you do that to me?
Oh my goodness.
Chloe, I'm not taking you to Cheesecake Factory no more. It's done. That's so embarrassing.
So, okay. So that was so in what areas do you guys think you had to change?
I would say routine. The routine kind of changed. You know, I'm very like, I had to be more open to
me being late.
That too.
What'd you say?
Me being late.
Yeah, I'm more of like an hour or 30 minutes ahead type person because I like to check the scene, see what's going on, meet the people who's there. I like to be unexpected when you're expecting me. So when you're expecting me at 11, I'm coming here at 10. So that's just my mindset.
That's also rude. Because you know people still walking around with their hair wrapped up and you
not
know,
ready.
I was like, oh, because we just setting this up. I just finished. Setting it up, and I was like, I wasn't dressed, and I was like, okay.
Explain. It's always here, but you got to get like.
Yeah, I got to adjust the audio, lighting, and everything. And so I was like, okay, they're gonna be pretty late because you know they're coming from far away.
Egypt, coming from Egypt.
And so I was like, it was like 10:58, and I was like, let me just look out the window. And as I was walking to the window, I heard a loud car. I was like, I think Rob got like a Mustang or something like that. And I looked up. I was like, is that Rob's red Mustang pulling up? I was like, Bernie, they're here.
I was like, what?
We never would have known if you didn't just say that.
That's exactly what he did.
And I was like, okay, let me hit the doorbell. I was like, ding, ding. I was like, okay, good.
I was like, I thought you said they were going to be late. He said, I was
like, oh my God.
I was mostly ready though.
Yeah, he's a very on-time person.
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
But was there anything that you had to change about you, like personally?
I had to ask more of like, instead of doing things for me, like say it's like, sometimes I would go to the gym myself and I'd just be like, I'm here now. She'd be like, wait, where are you going? I'm just like, I'm going to the gym. She was like, you're not asking me that I want to go. I was like, and I'd just be like, why would you want to go? Like, I'm about to go kill myself. You sure you want to do this? But it's more of like, I get up, I'm like, hey, you want to go to the gym with me? She's like, yeah, sure. I was like, okay, come on, let's go. Or if like, say if like I coach Little League and I'm just like, hey, I'm going to the field. Do you want to come with me? Mm-hmm. So it's more of that had to change. I had to stop thinking so much about myself. More of like, okay, let me input in these. Because me personally, I'm thinking like, these are things you probably don't want to do, so I'm not going to ask you.
Okay.
So now it's just like, even though you don't want to do it, I'm still going to give you the choice to see if you do want to come just in case. So I'm just going to ask you anyway. Like,
what made that be something that you started doing on a regular basis, on a reoccurring basis? Because I've heard other people struggle in that area where the consideration that they have for their spouse, that, I didn't think that you would want to do that and so forth. Was it just that, she just mentioned it and you just like, okay, let me just do this moving forward?
More because I know how she is. She likes to be around me. I like her. She like me. We love each other. We love being around each other.
That's, you say that lightly, but that's really big in marriage because some people married and don't really like each other.
Yeah, so it's like
newly married and don't like each other.
And I love supporting her and anything, and I know she loves supporting me. So even though she don't want to do that, I know she is like, I don't want to do it, but I want to support you. So it's just like she's there because of support. So it's just like, hey, let's go, whatever. So that's a big thing.
Aww.
So Chloe, what did you have to change?
I think I had to change. Or something I had to learn is understanding Rob and his emotions.
Okay.
And understanding that
people have emotions. People have emotions. It's not a big deal. Or understanding that if he says that he's okay, maybe he's really just okay, and not trying to like bug him about it. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, what are you thinking about? Like, I remember one time he said, I'm really thinking about nothing. And I'm like, you can't just be thinking about nothing.
I'm thinking about, we don't do that.
So I feel like that was a piece of it. But also learning that even though Rob is...
So hold on, no. So you really can't just be thinking about nothing.
I don't just think about nothing. I always have like 5,000 thoughts going through my head. So I'm like, he's lying, obviously, because that's not normal.
She was like, that's not normal. You should get that checked out.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like,
oh my God.
You can't just think about anything.
No,
like, she's
no,
like,
I don't.
I have
My
5,000 things going in my head. Like, I'm thinking of my mom, my dad, my grandpa. I'm like, what?
24/7. I think also understanding even if he's not showing a lot of emotions, he still needs space for him to express himself. I think that was a big piece for me to learn about him.
But you said you had to understand Rob's emotions, and then you referenced him not thinking about something. How was that a part of the emotion that you had to understand?
Rephrase that question.
You mentioned that Rob not thinking about something was a part of the emotions that you had to understand.
Well, because sometimes when he would just be quiet or not thinking, I'm thinking something's wrong or he's upset or he's angry. And understanding that him just being quiet, not thinking, could be like one of the emotions. Or him chilling. Like, and I feel like sometimes that would sort of start arguments with us.
Yeah.
Or like issues, because be like, are you upset? Like, why are you so quiet? Like, what's going on? Like,
so really, you had to understand your emotions.
No, I feel like I had to understand his.
But
it's not an emotion that he has that you had to understand. You just had to accept that that's what his emotion was, that he was in a safe space, and how you felt about that. That's your emotion.
Okay, well, I guess he helped me learn my emotions then.
Yeah, she was, but she still was learning his emotions because hers was triggering. You know, it was.
I'm still learning him.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
know that
emotions too, because she would be very emotional, so many emotions, and it's just like she would just start crying. I'd be like, "Why are you crying? What's going on?"
And I had to also learn that that's him caring. Because at first I was like, "You don't care. Like, why are you asking why am I crying?"
What? He's supposed to what?
No, but it's not like a, oh my gosh, babe, are you? It's not like, oh, like I'm massaging you, like making sure. It's just like, why are you crying? And to me, I'm just like, hello, I'm crying. Like, you need me over here, like, you okay?
Y'all have to learn.
So I had to learn that even though he's saying, why are you crying? That's actually him like
caring.
Him caring.
Yeah.
So that's why even I talk about the emotions piece, because even though he doesn't necessarily express those outwardly in something, he's still somewhat expressing his emotions or showing care or showing love.
Okay. That's the way
he expresses himself.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that because sometimes it would frustrate me. Or I'd be like, okay, I'm supposed to be getting princess treatment. What is going on? And it's not that he's not treating me like a princess, but that's just how like
that's
carries
how he
himself.
treats you like a princess.
Yes. Because he could just ignore me.
He was expecting to see it a
something
different
else.
way. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like that's something that I feel like I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But I get it a little bit.
You are still learning in a year.
But I appreciate it more.
Okay.
Because you understand it.
Because I understand it.
Because you thought you weren't getting something that you were actually getting.
But I'm actually getting it. But that's the way that Rob
gives it.
Yes.
Because you were looking at it, but looking at it as if like the way you would give it.
Right.
But that's not how he gives it.
Did you know you were doing that, Rob?
He's like, what's the question?
Right.
No, did you know that you were giving care and consideration in your way?
Oh, yeah.
But she wasn't receiving it the way that...
I kind of realized when she started explaining that the same way to me. She was like, why are you not like hugging on me? And in my head, I'm like, I thought I'm showing I'm caring. Like, this is what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, it was, in the first, it wasn't like arguments, but we'd have talks. And I was like, why are we talking about this? I'm showing I care. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm
That's
caring.
learning each other.
But she was just like, no, you're supposed to hug on me and kiss my
God.
forehead and tell me I'm a princess. I'm just like... But I'm asking, why are you crying? Like, talk to me. So it was just so, like, I'm not really, like, expressing my emotions. I'm more like, if I'm sad, I'm sad. I'm going to get over it. It's whatever. Do whatever. But she's like, she's crying, and I'm just like...
But I feel like he's adjusted in some ways. I feel like Rob was one of the type of people where he listens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, well, I have two. When we were dating, not even married, I was like in his bathroom one day and I was like, you should really put a trash can in here. Just, if you're, you have your sister, your mother, whoever over your house, right? Yeah. The next day I came over his house or 2 days later, there's a trash can there. So I was like, oh wait, like I only had to say one thing and it clicked in your head. So I feel like he does that a lot with things. And so like, even while we've been married.
Do you know that you do that?
I think it's more of like a thing that I'm just used to down like the path from how I've been raised. Like I say one time, you do it.
Okay, that's it. There it is. There it is.
But even like sometimes we'll be out walking and I'll like grab his hand. He'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I'll be like, "Oh,
what?"
I'm like, "We're married. I'm just trying to hold your hand."
But it's just I'm not.
But I've had to explain to him like this is what married people do. Like they walk around and they hold each other's hands.
Is that too much PDA? Hand holding?
I will
say, the point I was trying to make is sometimes now he'll just like
grab your hand.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, you're listening. Like, this is something I'm expressing. But sometimes he'll be like, what are you doing?
Okay, wait, please explain that.
So,
please explain that.
Before we got married, I would say stuff like that is soft. Like, what do we need to do that for?
Yeah, you think it's so, okay, yeah. I get it.
So it was more like,
because that's not gonna happen until you're 55.
Yeah, right. But it was more like, I took it more of like, that's what your mom does. Like, walk your hand across the street. That's how I took it.
He does say that to me a lot now.
Yeah, so I took it like, when she's like, hey, come here, I need a hug. It's more like, get off me, mom. Like, I'm okay. So that's how it's programming in my head.
I get it.
Oh, so, but you understand.
But he said that
you daddy now. You get it.
So now I'm getting it. So now I'm just like,
you daddy.
Yeah. So now I'm just like, in my hand walking, I'm like, come here.
But he has said that to me before. He'll be like, what do you say? I'm a grown man. And I'll just be like, okay, you're a grown man.
Because she acts very, like, sometimes she acts like a mother. She's like, oh,
but I'm like, this is
you're bleeding.
normal.
Let me, I'm like, Chloe, put water on the alcohol. That's it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, she treats me like I'm so
This is
soft.
so cute seeing y'all grow up. Oh my gosh. Like all the stuff, these little things that y'all are going through, it is so cute. That is hilarious.
So what did you have to get rid of that you didn't know about before marriage? What didn't work in your marriage that you had to kind of throw out? Because that's just not going to work. For example, Heath don't like nobody pointing at him. So you notice I don't point at him. I just point around him. I would never point dead at him because
she pointed
he
at
don't
me
like that.
Earlier this week, and she was like, I was like, I just took her finger and just
What was I talking about? But I wasn't talking about
something.
you. I was talking about something else. But yeah, he don't like me pointing.
That's a hard question.
Yeah. I want to say, that is a hard. What did I have to throw out? I feel like there's a lot of things I probably throw out.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
To think of just one.
I want to say.
Are there a lot, Chloe?
Is it like emotion-wise or just like, oh, well, I guess in that case, gestures. I want to say.
Well, things you had to change. That was just mine. I'll give you an example. And then, I can give you another example.
So one of the things that I had to change was my humor.
Yes.
My humor doesn't work in our marriage.
It's not funny.
Because
that's her. My humor's not funny to her.
Well, it's joning. It's not funny.
Yeah, you joning somebody.
See, I would say that because she's very.
You can't take mine. No, I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Like I would say I can be a jokester. Like I said, when I'm comfy, I'm a jokester. Like that's when my friends be Joan. We like, bro, your foot, bro, you got duck feet. We take it there.
Yeah.
Talk about your mama. Talk about your mama. I'm your father.
All that.
You didn't even know it. That's just how we used to.
That's it.
But if I say something, she's like, well, why would you say that about me? It's just like.
I'm not saying that about you.
I'm not saying
exactly.
It's a joke. It's not true. It's just supposed to be funny to make it seem like it's true. I'm selling a story here. Like you supposed to buy it, laugh. Like, oh, okay. Like,
oh my goodness.
So, and another thing I want to say like my selfishness. Like sometimes I could be a little selfish about my quality time. So I had to throw that out. So sometimes I would play the game or just do whatever I want to do. And sometimes I have to think okay, let me turn this off. Let me go upstairs and see what she's doing. And even though I feel like spending quality time with her, let me give her love language. Let me give her hey, I say, hey, babe, let's watch a movie. Let's watch one of your romance movies. And
I so wish, and people hear this.
Yeah.
I wish that husbands and wives, but husbands would take consideration for what their spouses want and then initiate it without being asked or prompted or having to remember to do it, but just take the initiative and say, oh, I know she likes quality time. Let me just go spend quality time with her now, because it just makes such a big difference. It shows one growth, and it shows that you're actually listening and you care, and then the response that the wife gives is reciprocal in what you want.
Right.
She's like, oh, you care about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it really works if people actually, it's so good that you guys actually, because what you're describing is just this adjusting period that everybody goes through at the beginning of a marriage. But you wouldn't believe how sour and to the left it goes because you don't
adjust.
Listen or hear oh, she likes this, oh, let me do that. You just keep doing you, or I
forgot, oh, I didn't remember,
or whatever.
Why aren't you remembering?
People literally do not get in tune to what they are hearing or somebody said they don't like or want, and they just still do themselves like they're still married. And everybody's miserable, and they look up 2-3 years later, and they're constantly fussing or whatever. But you guys, this adjusting period, you guys are actually like, oh, he doesn't like this, let me do this. Oh, I understand him now.
That's
he
the key to marriage right there.
Emotions. It just don't look like I would see. These things are like major because what it does, you're setting up a precedent so that in the next year, you're not still talking about the same crap. You actually understand your person.
Growing.
You're growing. Yeah. And people, I mean, don't take it lightly, because a lot of people in their first year, they don't actually get to like just do that. You see the fruit, and then you're better, and you move on to the next stuff.
No, we're growing like, because we talk about it. We
laugh about
and
it.
we be like, remember we was arguing about this? And we
Exactly.
were jokes. And I was like, girl, if I say that again. But it's like some arguments we'll go through, we'll bring it up but in a joking way, because we know, like, hey, we got past that. Like, we don't care about that no more.
Yeah,
Like, it's a lot of things we bring up. We just joke about it, because it's like we were so young and
We were so young. Y'all been married a year. Back in my 20s, man. Oh boy.
Right.
But I think in most marriage in that case, that just goes in like, do you really love your spouse? Do you really like each other? Or if you have some men just have too much pride. They want to be looked at. I'm the king. You do what I say, and they treat their women like a slave. Like I tell all the time, like, sorry, baby.
That's okay. I think for me, not to cut you off, were you done, baby?
Oh my gosh.
You were saying I tell her all the time.
Oh, like she'll come from work and she's tired. She's like, hey, I know it's my job to cook. And my thing is like, before she cook, I clean the dishes, the kitchen and everything. Like that's my duty. And sometimes I would say like, you're not a slave. You don't feel like cooking. We could just pick something up real quick.
I don't like that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't like that?
No. And I tell people, I think it's because, and Rob tells me this, he's like, stop trying to hold yourself to like what your mom was doing.
I knew you were going to say that.
Lift up a standard, Pamela Redmond. Come on now. Set the standard.
Yeah.
I was like, my mom would just cook and clean, and like there was never a day where like we didn't have dinner. I mean, occasionally, I think occasionally, like we would have McDonald's like once a week or something, and that was clearly us like having fun or having a family night. Or maybe my mom, I mean, I don't know, I wasn't in their marriage. Maybe my mom was tired that day, similar to what Rob was saying. My dad went out and got McDonald's for us, but for the most part,
sometimes your dad cooked.
Yeah, no, he did.
And I would tell
Mom
I can
was a
cook.
stay-at-home mom.
And that's what Rob had to say to me. He was like,
girl.
that's the big difference.
Yeah, you working 10 jobs and worrying about, I can't get the mail. I mean, come on now.
But it just bothers me because I was just like, I feel like I had like a wife standard for myself. Like these are all the things that a wife is supposed to do. And I actually had like a breakdown the other day, and Rob was like,
oh my gosh.
you're a good wife. Like I need you to calm down. Like, no, I need to be doing this. I need to be cooking this. I need to be and he's just like, relax. Like I'm fine. Like
Wow.
chill out. But I think it's cool that we can have those kind of
Oh
conversations.
yeah.
That is great. That is great.
You do have a lot on your plate.
But I was gonna say what was the question? I didn't get the answer.
It was what did you wait? Did I say what did you have to get rid of that you didn't know about before marriage? What did you have to like get rid of?
I guess I don't know if it's getting rid of. Maybe something I had to learn is like putting myself aside because I actually have to listen to Rob. I feel like that was kind of hard. Like if he asked me to do something, it's not like, okay, well, I think this idea is better, so I'm going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. I feel like that was something that I kind of had to get rid of because I feel like in the beginning of our marriage, like Rob would even say like, well, if you just listen to me, like XYZ would go right. And even the other day, no, this is a good example. The other day, before he left for work, he's like, oh, do you mind like putting a load of laundry and like clean off the couch, something like that, he said. And usually I'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But in my mind, I was like, oh no, that's what my husband wants me to do. I'm gonna make sure, like, even though I'm doing all this work, I'm gonna find time to do that because I know that that's gonna make him happy, and he asked me to do it, right?
Hold on.
So I feel like
hold on. Let's just stop right there.
that's a bad thing.
No,
Oh,
It's
it's
good.
Yes.
Not bad.
That is what marriage is about.
Right.
Daggone it. You've been married too long. I mean, y'all got like 7 years in it.
Hey, look. After we had talks with you guys, it really, trust me, it opened up our brains of a lot of things we talk about. Like even with what was the marriage council we went through with church?
Oh, First Baptist.
Yeah, I learned a lot, and it was just. Trust me, I would have been one of those.
Those people that you're talking about.
Okay.
I would have been one of those. So they like, you know what? Let me tone it down a little bit. So I start
See,
shifting.
even that.
I made a little shift.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so good, Chloe. But go ahead.
No, that was all. That was just an example. Because I feel like sometimes, even like stuff with the gym, he would like tell me to do, and I'm like, well, I've been doing it for this long. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's just like, oh wait, if I had listened to Rob, I probably could have lost 10 pounds like 2 months ago. Or it was, I don't know, it'd be some things he would like tell me, and then I'd be talking to my dad, like not about what Rob said, just talking about, he's like, well, why don't you do X, Y, Z? And I'm like, oh wait,
that's what Rob said.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what I'm talking about.
But I'll throw to her face.
I'm your husband.
I just be like, yeah. You should do that.
That's exactly it. That's how you do it, Rob. That's how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So was there anything you guys felt like you needed to add, that you had to add?
That you didn't have before?
That you didn't have before, yeah. That you needed?
I would say.
Go ahead.
I always tell us, like, we should always be 1% better. That's just my mindset. Like, win today, 1% better.
Oh, 1%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be 1% better. Like, even though we did good yesterday, let's catch it before things happen. So we're like 1% before we get to. So we used to do things like, I think you told us it's like the hot oven method, and we started using that at first, and we always try to catch ourselves like, hey, if we're about to argue, let's make a joke about it before the argument. So we're jokingly, but it's just like, it's not so much like I'm saying this, you saying that. It's more like we're joking about it, but it's like, hey, you caught the message, right? All right. So as long as you caught the message, that's all that matters. So that's one of the things we try to do, and just, we're always just like, hey, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to protect you. Like that's just our duty. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like the same thing. Like even on our way here. Oh, but you missed something. You know, right here we got an argument.
About what?
About being late.
Oh my gosh.
I was quiet. Why are you mad at me? I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
I'm not mad, Chloe. It's just, you gotta be on time. She's getting her little moment, so I just.
But I feel like, I don't know if this is answering the question, but it's like figuring out how to like diffuse arguments like before it blows up. I think that's something that you guys kind of taught us. And so, like, even before we left the house, I'm like, I just want to have a good podcast recording. Like, I just want everything to be okay. Like, we don't need this to go all the way to, like, 10. So even the call, we were both kind of, I was watching Grey's Anatomy. I think he was listening to music. But, like, by the time we got here, he was just kind of like, all right. Like, are you okay? Like, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. We kind of, like, sat there and, like, diffuse situation. But I say bringing that into marriage because I feel like when we were dating, things would like escalate to like 100, and we probably wouldn't be okay for like 2 days.
Smoking. The fire went out.
The candle went out.
Yeah.
I think more patience and being selfless. I feel like that's something that, you said take away? Add.
No, you had to add that you didn't know.
Something that you didn't have before you got married, that like, okay, I'm showing up lacking in this area. Let me go ahead and beef this area up, or let me get these. One of the things that, for me, I'll give an example. One of the things that I had to do is I understood leadership, but I didn't know how to do it. I understood it conceptually and textbook wise, but I didn't know how to do it. And when we hit, I think year 6 in our marriage, I was seeing all of the different changes that we were going through. And we had more money now, and we paid off a lot of debt. And so it was like we had a business, and it was like, okay, we have this money, we have a business, and we have, the car, the house and stuff. And it was like, okay, but I don't know, like, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. And I was like, I need to figure out how to be a better leader. I'm supposed to be leading Bernie somewhere, but I don't know where we're going, and I don't know what I'm doing. So that's when I went back to school and got my master's in organizational leadership to learn leadership. But I realized that I didn't have something that I needed to take us further, and so I went back to school to get educated about leadership. So that was what I found was lacking in me, that I had to add to myself, the knowledge of leadership. And then also another example, when I became a team lead at work, they didn't have that was the first time I was leading a team of people. And there was a bunch of contractors. And so I had some issues that I didn't know how to deal with. I've never had to be like somebody's boss and fire somebody before. So I was like, okay, I have to be a different Heath. I have to add some managerial skills to me that I thought I had, but I don't have. And so that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Maybe for me being like selfless, and then also even though he doesn't express his emotions all the time, opening up space for his emotions instead of just dumping my emotions all over the place 24/7. Still working on that.
Chloe.
So you had to add some restraint to you.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Still doing it.
Yeah. So what does a unrestrained Chloe look like?
I don't know that we wanted to share an example of that.
I'm sure Rob got
You don't have to
plenty
give an example. Just to be like, you said that you just dump your emotions and stuff. So you were used to just communicating how you feel a lot.
How you feel, what you felt, what day you felt, what time you felt it, what I should do, what I need to start doing, what I should not do.
Wait, what?
What her dad did, what her grandma did. I need to be more like that. Say, girl, them emotions are nothing to play with. Them things will put you in a coma. Her emotions, man. Sometimes I have to tell her, like, slow down. Like, take it back a notch. Take a breath and explain to me what's the underlying issue. Like, what's really going on? Not what you're feeling, what's going on. Okay. And then we'll get to that point, like, okay.
We had that conversation with you. Remember you had this is a feeling versus this is an emotion.
What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I know you wanted an example.
I don't have to be. I just asked what was how do your emotions or what does unrestrained Chloe look like? Unrestrained Chloe. I think Rob described it, the dumping of emotions, all of or the feelings and the thoughts and stuff.
I don't know if this is a good example, but I used to like call Rob after work and just like go through my whole day and this is what happened and my boss got on my nerves and I can't stand him, but like just dump for like maybe 20 minutes and talk about how people are crazy.
Not for 20 minutes.
Whatever, longer than 20 minutes, the whole hour ride home. And then it's like, wait, Rob has emotions. Maybe he had a bad day or something. And so I feel like now we don't really.
Did you think about that after you finished dumping or like months later? Like,
I think after we had a conversation, even on the way home, I used to don't talk to him. I don't call him on my drive home. I might call my mom or like my sister or something, and that's like another space where I can like share emotions where it's like not dumping on him, or I'll like listen to music or something. And so even like when we get home, sometimes we try not to immediately like talk about work or something or talk about the worst things that happen. Because again, maybe he needs space to talk about his day, or there's something like as a family we need to think about or talk about. And I feel like that was something I needed to learn because I would just do that when I would come home for work or even like coming in the house and doing that. And since he's an introvert, it's like his energy is all sucked. He hasn't had dinner, his biscuit yet.
Dang.
So, oh my gosh.
So that's not
give him a biscuit and shut up. Give him a biscuit.
No, that's
sit down, eat your slice of pizza and be quiet.
Me like a dog.
The biscuit
Sit down, eat your slice of pizza and be quiet.
No, that's
She's basically like, boy, you want to talk?
Yeah.
We said that earlier.
The food makes him talk.
Yeah. So it's like he's an introvert. He needs a second. Even though I have all these emotions, maybe I need to pray about it, talk to my mom, do other things. So by the time I get home, we could just. Yeah. I mean, maybe again he needs to express himself, or we can talk about something else, and then.
I actually had to learn to open up more because she
would a closed box.
Yeah, she would be like, she had this thing. She was like, "Why don't you tell me about your day?" Because she would be like, "Hey, how was that?" And I was like, "Oh, it was okay."
I'm like,
and she was like, "Nothing happened. Did you go to the restroom? Did you eat?" And I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
I'm like, "Who talks about that?" But now I come like, "Yeah, well, I did this today, and this happened." So that was one of the things I really had to learn too. So.
Or sometimes even we'll be in the car. And he'll just be quiet, and I don't bug him a lot, but I'll be like, "Is something on your mind?" He's like, "I just got a lot of things," and I'll be like, "Well, can you just share one thing?" And so he'll just share one thing with me. He won't even though he says it's like 10 things, he'll just do one thing. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, that makes me feel better because at least I know about one thing that's on your brain. But it makes me feel better because I want you to be expressive. I want you to share what's on your brain. I don't want it to be like I'm not getting to know you more, or I'm concerned about what you're concerned about.
Right.
So even though you don't have the energy or you don't want to express all those emotions at one time, just give me one. Just small baby
So,
steps.
Rob, how do you feel about her wanting to know what's going on in your brain? Is that something that you're adjusting to, or you kind of like, I don't feel like telling all my business?
It's kind of both. Like, because sometimes I'm just, I want to say how I was raised. It's more of like, we all had our own room. So, you know, like, I'm the oldest of all of us. So it's like, I'm the older brother. I'm in my room. Don't bother me. Like, go to your mom, go to your father. I'm in here. This is my space when I'm doing older brother things. So I'm adjusting to like, okay, if I'm married to this person and we're going to be married forever, I don't want to give her just the bare minimum of knowing a certain type of Rob. The only way for this to get better, she has to know all the Rob.
Exactly.
So I give her a minimum of things which I know her emotions can handle at a certain period.
Yes, sir.
So,
Man, boy, you better talk. You better talk like you know your wife.
That's good, Rob.
You better talk like you know your wife, sir.
Yes,
Good
so,
gracious.
So, like, if something happened with me and my boss today, as in, like, I think I told you with the shoes.
Woo!
I was sometimes, like, tell her in a way where I know the emotion's not going to affect her to act out. So, so I would tell her, like, hey, instead of like, yeah, my boss told me to go take some shoes to her house. That's crazy, right? I would say, hey, it came to an issue. My boss left her shoes at the office. I have to take them. But instead of me taking them, do you want to come with me? So,
Dude,
so
that is so...
I said, yes, I want to come with you. We're going to drive to her house. I'm going to come outside the house, stand at the door and say, hello, I'm Mrs. McBride.
But instead, I got that. I didn't get why.
Yes,
why are you going there? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Are you and her doing this and doing that? And it's just like, no.
You're learning your wife.
Yeah, so...
Who trained you? Good God, that was like you involved her in the solution.
Yeah,
That's an expert level game, sir. I'm so proud of you.
That was very smart.
Yeah. So things like that. So we do like I'm open more because I'm not perfect at all. So I want her to know me more. So
that's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much. By you even being open to be more open to her is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm telling you, it doesn't happen.
It took a lot of work, but we're here.
Yeah.
And y'all, I mean, you're only at year one. So that's good that you're learning to do that. Because some people still trying to get that in year, I don't know, 5, 6 or whatever. But that's awesome. So I think you guys talked about already what you needed help with and what was lacking. So I'm going to move to the next one. What illusions did you guys have that you're wide-eyed now about marriage? What illusions about marriage did y'all have?
I think similar to what I said earlier. I don't know if this answers the question, but like what a wife is supposed to look like. I feel like that was something that I had to slowly learn. Like, oh, it's okay to do this. Like a wife doesn't have to do all of these things. Like one of the things was that I kind of said is like, oh my gosh, dinner has to be on the table like every night. Like his lunch has to be packed like every day. Like that's what a wife does. So I think him coming in with grace and being like, no, it's okay. Like we can order in or I can pack my own lunch. I think that was one of the things.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying you're learning that your household is your household and not your mom and dad's household, what you grew up watching. No, a lot of people have to learn that it's not a cookie cutter. It's the McBride's
Rob
house.
will say that to me sometimes. He'll be like, I'm not your dad. I'll be like,
I married Chloe, not Pamela.
Right. There you go. You're learning that you have your own household and it's not a cookie cutter. It's supposed to look like what the McBride's house looks like. And that's what it'll
How was that
being.
for you? How was that transition for you, Chloe?
I think I'm still learning. But like I feel like I stopped myself a lot. No, I'm thinking about like even when I can't even think about the things that you would say like I'm not your dad. It would be like certain things. I don't even know if it's like with your emotions.
I don't think I say like your dad. I think it's just certain things like you think you want to do is like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, boss, I gotta do this with work. I'm like, take care of work then. Like I'm fine. Like you're not. I always tell like you're not a slave. Like you don't have to do these things. You're obligated. If you feel like cooking, cook. If you don't, hey Rob, can you cook? I will cook. Like if you don't feel like doing certain things, that's why I'm here to help. That's just one of the things we always tell her. Like you don't have to do these things. Like I'm here to help you. So.
like amazing because I'm just telling you, other men be like, when are you going to get it done? Come on. I mean, it's just, that's good. I mean, I'm not saying that. I've seen the opposite of, but that's who she married. That's what he wants. He wants food at a certain time, And, you know, the person couldn't do it. She wasn't even trying. Never mind.
I was going crazy. I'm like, wait, no, I'll do it. I remember I would come, it'd be like 8 o'clock at night. And he'd be like, it's 8 o'clock at night. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God, girl, it's almost time to go to bed.
I gotta cook that. I gotta cook.
Trying to do that with 10 jobs. Girl, you really trying to be Olivia Pope.
What about you, Rob?
Honestly, I don't know. Because a lot of people in my family are not married, except like my cousin. And they got divorced, so I never really saw like the image of a husband. So my image of the husband was on like a television show or something. So that was just like, well, husband's take care of his family. Someone say something to his wife, disrespectful, you smack him. So that was my image. My God. So, but I kind of like created my own image of like, if I have a wife, I'm gonna protect her, I'm gonna love her, and I'm gonna pray for her, and that was just. Other males teaching me like, hey, this is what you do. And I'm like, I would take some things and put in my own little basket mind of things I should do, but I didn't really have like.
But out of those things that you put in your basket, out of those things that you put in your basket, and out of those things that you kind of created your own, what of those were true and what were those were like, okay, no, that was not right?
I think what was false, what I saw, is like, I never want to be in that 70s mindset of like a woman shouldn't have the same equal rights as a man. Like, I never want to be in that mindset like, oh, just I'm the man, I'm supposed to do this. You don't. If you feel as though like I want to do these things too, go ahead.
So did you have that mindset before marriage and then that changed afterwards, or what?
I didn't really care back then. So it was like, it's one of those things like I didn't really think about it. It was just like. But now, as I started getting older, it was like, I don't want a woman to think like she can't do the things she want to do. If you want to start a business and, you know what I'm saying, you a boss woman, do what you got to do. Like, if you come in the house, you don't feel like cooking, you don't have to cook. Like, I'm old enough, I can cook myself. Are you hungry? I can make you something to eat. I'm here, I get home before you. So it only makes sense if you don't feel like cooking, I can cook for you. So I'm not really like, some things were true of like, you know, like if your woman say she want her feet rubbed, hey, stop, drop, and roll. Go rub her feet. Like, so that was one of the things I took, but I didn't really have like an image of what it's supposed to look like. So it's a big learning thing for me.
I think what is impressive about you, Rob, even before you all got married, is that you were, and which is what I kind of told Chloe, you are open to
a sponge. I love it.
Receiving information and then acting on it.
Yes.
I'm coachable.
Yeah, you're coachable.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me. I'm very coachable.
And that was one of the things that I was telling Chloe, does he listen to what you say? Does he ignore? Is he sensitive to your concerns? Like, does he do when you say, I don't like this, does he adjust? He's like, oh yeah, because he did. I said that and he didn't do it like right away. The next time he did, I was like, so why are you questioning whether you should be with this dude? Like, what are you doing?
Girl, what's the problem?
Because you were trying to get all those feelings in confirmation. Yeah. But Rob, you started to talk about protecting a woman, and if somebody says something about you, and you smack them. Something about your wife, and you smack them. How is it you all? I guess I'm gonna ask Chloe. How does it like being married to a? I don't want to say
trained to go.
Trained to go?
Yeah, trained to go.
I love that.
I love it.
Trained to go.
I feel invincible. I feel like nothing can touch me.
She about to get him hemmed up.
Let's not say that.
I do. I feel like wherever I go, if I say something, I feel fearless because I'm like, he's not about to take anything. Like, he's ready to turn it on at any second. That's how I really feel.
So you be putting him in harm's way?
Yes.
I do.
You cannot.
Not in harm's way. Even my mom's like, you're going to get Rob killed.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I just know that like he's very overprotective of me, but I really value that. Like, he cares about me.
But you do take that for advantage of that?
No.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
If people come and try to challenge me, for example, the other day, I already told y'all the story, but I was walking my dog, just minding my business.
Oh.
And this guy like pulls up in like this big black F-150 And he's like, hey. And he's like yelling at me, hey. And I'm like ignoring him. And then he like gets out. Did he get out of his truck? I think he gets out of his truck and he was just like, you need to clean that dog poop up. And first of all, I'm just like, my dog's constipated. He's not even pooping, so I don't know what you're talking about. And so I'm still kind of ignoring him. And then he was just like, you need to pick that shit up.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, I don't got to deal with this. I got Rob in the house. So I said, hey, Siri, call my husband. He said, go get your husband. I'm about to go get him. So I go in the house. I'm like, hey, Rob, there's this man outside that told me to come get you. I tell him like what happens. He just jumps off the couch and goes outside. He's running around looking for the man, trying to figure out where he's at.
This is at home?
Yeah.
I pulled up on him too, though, one day, though.
He did. But it's stuff like that I feel like is not a bad thing.
So when you pulled up on what happened?
Some old veteran, he apologized, but he was just like, he told me to work for the HOA, but I was just like, I don't care. So I had nutmeg, and this is wrong, but I had him poop in front of his truck.
You what?
I had nutmeg to poop in front of his truck. Because it's like, don't talk to her like that. I don't play that. That's off limits.
So you had your dog poop in front of his truck?
His truck, so he see it. And he was right there inside his truck.
But I feel like he didn't go after the man because I feel like...
Because...
I feel like it was like...
Well, you like say something to me like that.
Yeah. It was like weeks later, so it was just like, it already narrowed down, but this is the same dog, and this is me.
Yeah.
So I want to hear that now.
Yeah, give me that same energy. You talking to my wife.
Took nutmeg right there, looked in his face, looked at him.
And for a few days...
Did you clean it up?
No.
Of course not.
Oh.
For a few days after that, he would like walk outside with me to make sure like nothing popped off. But I feel like women want that. You don't want somebody who like, someone's gonna say, go get my husband, and it's like...
Think about it, wait.
Think about it like I should go get my husband. He's not gonna do anything.
No, it's good to have that protection, but you like it so much that
I love it.
You be instigating
we're
stuff.
afraid that stuff could be dangerous, and you be like, I'm going to get robbed. Well, maybe we should escalate this.
De-escalate
people might, de-escalate. Yeah, de-escalate it because it might be really bad.
Well, I don't do it all the time.
We've been in this situation. No.
But we've been in situations where Rob will say, tell me. Because there's sometimes like I wouldn't say anything. He's like, no, when something happens like that, you need to tell me.
Because I need to know who it is, because when I see them, I at least need to address them like, don't ever do that again. Not like go out there, beat them up, just like, look, I'm serious. Because it was one time I told her, I say, listen, I talked to this guy, he yelled at me, but I'm the type of person, like, if you yell at me, I can handle me. So it's just like, whatever, just don't put your hands on me, it's going to be something else. But I told her, I said, if he says something to you, I'm going to black out.
Oh, no.
And I told her, she just wouldn't listen.
Oh my gosh, that was we were at the hotel. Okay, wait.
And she did it anyway, and it's like, Chloe. And she was like, Rob, come down. I was like, Chloe, I told you.
Okay, so we were at this hotel, and you had gone up to the front. Mm-hmm. We were complaining because like we didn't like the way like our bed sheet looked or whatever. And so Rob went out there and talked to him and came back. He was just like...
Talk to who?
Talked to the person at the front desk.
Okay.
And basically came back and was like, yeah, he was saying you people and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe I need to go. Maybe I need to go talk to him. And Rob was like, let me tell you something, Chloe.
Oh.
If anything pops up, he stands up or says something to you, like, I'm gonna lose it. So I'm like, whatever. And we hadn't been married for a year yet. So I'm like, whatever, he's not gonna go off.
This before you knew about the thug life that was you was living with.
I kind of knew about it, but I was just like, I mean, I've seen it sort of, but he's not gonna do that. So we go to and mind you, Candace and Nevaeh are with us, and so we go to the front desk, and I'm just like talking to the guy. He's kind of talking to me, and then he starts like he stands up and starts yelling at me. Rob loses his mind.
You were there with him?
He was standing behind me.
I was just waiting for it to happen.
Loses his mind, and Rob's like leaning over the counter. I have to like stand in front of Rob, and Candace. I think Candace felt like, oh, okay, Rob's here. Nothing's gonna happen to me. So she stands on the counter. She starts yelling.
Oh my gosh,
Candace is this big.
Yeah.
But I think it's like she also knew Rob's not gonna let nothing happen to her. Wow. And I'm just like,
Candace's little sister.
Yeah.
Like
little sister.
Younger sister.
Need to leave.
Now you want to de-escalate.
Whoa, I didn't really think he was gonna go like full throttle. Like
he said he was gonna lose it.
I was like, and I had to stand in front of him. The guy ended up walking down the hall.
He walked out the hall. And
Rob was like, go get that. And I'm just like, let's just go. So we like end up leaving the hotel. But no, he set it off. And I was like, Rob is gonna punch, like sling on it. We need to get out of here. But we got in the car and said, I told you.
I told you. Stop using my.
Well, not even that. He was like, I told you, like, I told you not to talk to him, one. Right. But if you do talk to him, he goes off. I'm not going to sit there and let him disrespect you and start yelling at you. But I didn't think the man was going to yell at me. Yeah. But he did.
So you like that. So what's
I just like, you feel safe. It's like, nothing's going to happen to me because my husband will walk.
I get it. Yeah.
I think I went somewhere one time and I was with a group of women and they were getting loud and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, see, now I have to be the one to step up because if somebody says something to them wrong,
oh my God.
if somebody says something to them wrong, then how I look just standing by letting that happen. So I'm going to have to fight on their behalf. And I got to explain to Bernie, because Bernie wasn't there. I got to explain to Bernie why I got in a fight trying to protect these women and they was wrong, but I can't be a man just letting them get jumped on like that.
The worst thing is when we went to the movies and saw
that was
Salt
the worst.
with this other couple.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when we came out, after we saw Salt, the husband of the other couple, it was two people arguing, minding their own business, arguing, two men.
It was a couple. It was a couple.
It was?
It was a woman.
It wasn't two men?
It was a couple.
Okay. Anyway, it was two people arguing, whatever. The man of this other couple that's with us infiltrated, got into that or whatever.
He was like, hey, stop that.
And I was like, oh my gosh, why are you getting into that?
Oh no.
So then the man turned on him. So now I'm thinking, oh gosh.
Now
So what happened is the guy was like, I'm recording. So the guys were arguing out, the couple was arguing outside of a car. And our friend was like, I'm recording, stop that. And then he reached down, he bent down and got the license plate of the car they were standing next to.
And somebody was sitting in the car.
But that wasn't their car. It was somebody else's car. So the guy whose car it was, he opened his door. It's like, what you recording my car for?
Going
he started walking toward him. And then the
fight.
guy got the passenger seat and started walking toward him too. So I'm the friend, so now I got to walk toward him. So it's like 2 on 2.
I'm praying like, oh my gosh. Now he has to be involved.
I'm about to get into a fight for no reason at all.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
But his wife ended up standing in between the two of them.
Yeah, she had
she was like, look, let's just go. Y'all go.
And we were like,
come on.
No more movies for you.
Like, we're not getting
Salt. You think you are? Come on.
Go to the daytime.
We're not going out with y'all no more. This was a daytime.
The
daytime.
That's crazy.
It's like no more movies for you.
Movie.
I don't know. He saw Salt and thought he could do all what was happening in there.
Yeah. I was like, we're not going out with y'all no more. We're not. So the part B to that question is, what is it like being Rob married to PK? A pastor's daughter, a pastor's kid.
It was pressure at first. Oh, man. Because I feel as though, like, I had to know the Bible from front and back.
Oh, wow.
That's how you felt.
That's how I felt. Because it was just like,
Sorry, go ahead, baby.
Mom. But it was just like, I got Papa J, then a father. And it's just like, all they friends just like, oh, so what do you guys meet at? And it's just like, I know you guys looking for the answer of church. But we did not meet in church. We met on an app. And it's just like, they're just like, you can tell with like elderly people, they're just like, oh, y'all met on an app? That's unchristian like. So it's just like.
But your daughter was on the app.
Yes, I'm just like.
Hello.
Did you know I had to, she had to like. Swipe like, she had to swipe like to actually like me. And then like I got tattoos and it was one lady, I never forget, like she profiled me.
Really?
Like up and down, looked at my sleeve.
Oh yeah, we were
at
my aunt's house, I think.
Open, like, let me see. And I felt so uncomfortable.
Who was that?
Yeah,
don't say. But I think it was we were at my aunt's house, I think.
Yeah. And it kind of like
some family members would like say stuff, but
we all
I would set it off.
Yeah. It kind of like hurt me because it was like they were like judging me of like this type of guy that I'm not. Because everyone sees me and just like, oh yeah. I've been out before with her, like guys like, oh, you I could tell you do drugs. And just like, no, I actually never.
Hold on, who says that?
Yeah.
Out of their mouth?
Yeah. We've been out lady asking for a cigarette.
Oh, drugs, but it was also like that lady, she like, it was her and like a white guy, maybe her husband. And she passed all these white guys. It came up to Rob because he has his short sleeves, his tattoos. And she's like, you got a lighter? And he was like, no. But then I was talking to her when I sat there for a second. I said, excuse me, did you just profile my boyfriend?
Oh my God. It happens a lot.
Because he's black and he has tattoos. And Rob was just like, where is it?
Yeah.
Like,
it happens a lot. It happens a lot, like, with, like, friends she knew from church, and they just like profiling
Were
me.
you family members?
Yeah, they just, and plus I have a daughter, so a daughter outside before I got married, they're like, oh, well, is he like Christian? He's not really doing the right thing.
Although my parents never did that to him.
Yeah, which I'm happy. But it was a lot of pressure because I feel like I had to hold up to a standard of like try to be her grandfather and her dad. I couldn't really try to be me. So it was kind of hard at first.
How do you get over that, or are you over that yet?
I'm over it now. I mean, at first it's more of like.
I mean, he's in now.
Yeah, I'm
got no
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, I took it by a football approach. Like, you go to campus, you're the new kid on the block, new kid in the campus. You're trying to be the star player on the team. You're trying to get under his wing. But in the day, it's just like, I got here for a reason. I am who I am. So if y'all don't like it, y'all gonna fight about it?
What you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do about it? I got tattoos. Y'all, what it is, what it is. If you don't like it, hey, your daughter like it. Talk to her.
I know that's
She
right.
dealing with the wrong folks. So
That's right.
I was really
good.
nervous about how they were gonna approach
You
the
were
whole
you
situation.
Your
were
parents?
nervous.
Yeah, but when
yeah.
my mom, like the first time they met,
I think we met Rob before
Yeah.
you met your
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
but
I
they
knew we met you. I don't know if it was because you were hungry or if you were just nervous when we met you at the restaurant.
he's always quiet.
yeah, I was quiet.
Was that the first time?
Yeah.
when we
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to the restaurant?
I was.
Oh, I do remember.
Oh, you were nervous? I thought you were.
Oh,
I was.
wings?
It's just because every time I meet parents, like, okay, so
But they were my parents.
no, but just family members.
Yeah.
Everyone always liked me, but it's a difference when you actually like somebody and you like, are they gonna like me? You know what I'm saying? Because if I met parents before, it's like, man, okay, I ain't gonna be alone.
Oh, I see.
You got like 10 days left. The free trial is up. The free trial is up after that. After that, look, you gotta pay. Look, I don't care. Like, these little uncles or whoever they call me, they ain't gonna see me no more. But it was just like, now meeting someone people that I actually like, it's like, are they really gonna like me for me? Are they gonna like, I don't know, Chloe got too many tattoos, he got a daughter, I don't know what he does, he looks like a gangbanger. So I was getting all these things in my head, I'm just like, it's too much. So yeah.
That's rough being introduced to the preacher's side of the family, even though, in a preacher setting, everyone's supposed to be welcoming and loving, but then there's also stereotypically judgment that comes along with that.
Sometimes just a look, like you said, profile, just the way people look at you.
I was gonna say my parents.
Oh, and I was going to say, I want to finish because I'm not. Your parents didn't do that.
Yeah.
No,
Your parents,
and that's the
your parents didn't do that. I don't know about the other and your grandparents. Grandparents.
I was very nervous. Well, he met Papa J and Grandma Linda
first.
before he met my parents. And I don't know if Papa J was being overprotective because of my last relationship. I don't know. But Papa J had him sit on the couch and he was like asking about his job, like where he was from.
Yep.
He said this one line.
He was like, that's my one right there. He was
and he got real shit. And I was just like, I ain't never seen this side of Papa J before.
Yes.
But listen, let me tell you, when I'm from, if an old head say something like that, he got something on him. So that was my mouth. I was like, that old man got some heat on him. I was like, I ain't gonna play with him. He got something back there. I was like, hey, you got it, Pops. Like, no trouble.
He was not playing with Rob. But when my parents met Rob, you came over the house. We were going like out to dinner or
Dave
whatever
Buster's.
and going to David Buster's. And my mom and dad they were already there. Rob came in the house. They were like, hi. I think my mom like hugged him.
Yeah, give me a
and
big
I'm
hug.
like, what is going on?
Yeah.
She was just very like playful, talking to
But
him.
it
My
felt
dad,
good.
same thing,
Yeah.
like dapping him up. Even when we went to David Buster's, we just had like a general conversation.
Had you talked to them on the phone?
No.
So you hadn't had no,
No,
nothing.
nothing.
Wow.
And it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good. They didn't like profile me.
And I think you and my dad ended up
Yeah, we
going out.
talked about
y'all ended up going somewhere, like hanging
to
out.
the car. We went to the car. We just went to the car and back.
But the first trip, y'all didn't hang out and go somewhere by yourselves?
I think y'all went to
Movies
like
or something?
I think y'all went to get some food
Or
or
was the
something.
movie? We went to Famous Dave. Y'all found like y'all both.
Yeah, I remember the Famous Dave run.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we
I
found
wasn't even there, and I remember the conversation. I remember
Yeah.
y'all
But
talking
that was
about it.
after Chicago and yeah, that was after.
But they have their own little bromance going on.
Oh,
Even before we got engaged, they had their own like. We would come to Chicago and like, oh, me and Rob are going XYZ. Or no, he like took Rob he was like, Rob, do you want to go with me to class? And like Rob got up at like 6:30 in the morning and he like took him to school. And
the only thing I fell asleep in that. I felt so bad. Because I just felt like I was in school again. I was just like, look, I can't do that. Like, I don't want to do this. But the only reason I love Chloe family, well.
The only reason. One of the reasons.
No, I'm saying like, one of the reasons, okay. That I love you guys and like her mom and dad, because like, you know how someone like say they hear you, but you don't really gotta say anything. They just understand you, like who you are as a person. They know like, okay, I'm not gonna let any of that give my. It's like say like someone bad on the street say something about me, and it's just like from the past, and it's just like, okay, that's Rob back then. I know Rob now. He's a good person.
Yeah.
And I felt that's how they were like giving that type of love. Like, yeah, Rob, you know you made some mistakes. Yeah, you gotta do it, but you're okay now. Like we're not gonna judge you. That's not our part in life to take. So. That's what I liked about it. So it wasn't so much pressure when I was meeting them, and then like they were just cool. Like so, it was cool to me.
You all talked about you have a daughter, and so how was it like marrying someone who has children or being a blended family type of situation? That was something that was kind of new for you because you don't have any children, Chloe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love Nevaeh, and I feel like we just instantly click. And I think Rob was nervous about that because he told me that like Nevaeh doesn't necessarily open up like that. She like we were at his apartment and they came in and she like just instantly like hugged me and we just started like playing dolls together and it was just
how old is she?
She's 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but back then she was what, 4?
Oh, okay.
And she's just like playing in my hair. We're playing dolls. We're connecting. We're laughing and all that stuff.
It was so weird.
And he thought it was weird because I guess he was like, I don't know how this is about to pop off.
Oh.
And we were just like cool ever since. And I also started to realize how much she was kind of looking up to me because I used to
how much she was looking up to you,
or like would mimic me. Like I was carrying like this purse, my purse, whatever,
and she was
around.
Purse.
And so then like I went upstairs like put on lashes or something. And she follows me. I hear her like having struggles, like cut up the steps, and she like comes over with my big purse on her arm, like trying to walk with it, and like just pops on the floor, and I'm like, babe, what are you doing? And she's just like, and like going through my purse. And so anyways, we end up leaving the bathroom. She's like trying to carry it down the steps. So I'm like, oh, she's trying to like be me. And I ended up like getting her like a smaller purse that she could like.
She's like a smaller me, the girl version.
Yeah.
Like, she does not open up like at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I feel like also, I think I kind of told you this. Some of my siblings are adopted. And so I kind of told Rob, I was like, well, one day they weren't there and they just showed up. And it wasn't like a question about, do I love them or not?
That's true.
Just like,
that is true.
I love
my
them.
brother now.
And that's it. And I felt like with Nevaeh, it was kind of like, one day she wasn't here. She's here. And it's not like, ooh, do I think about loving her? It's like, no, I love her. Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's
Dang, man.
Yeah.
That is so I've never heard anybody explain it like that. And I think because I had, it was the 3 girls that you were raised along with, and then you adopted 2 boys. Your parents adopted 2 boys.
Yeah.
But having that experience, allowing you to see how you can just turn this.
Someone's there.
Just activate the love. Mm-hmm. It's like, when a mom before the baby gets there, it's like, oh, I'm carrying the baby. Then the baby gets there. It's like, okay, there's love and it's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's like, here it is. That's really, 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 really impressive. That's really good.
And I loved it because she didn't like give it like a title. Like we all know, like she don't have a kid, so obviously it's her stepchild. She didn't say, "Oh, that's just my stepchild."
Like in conversation, I'm like, "Oh, that's my daughter." Like even at work, people be like, they'll ask me, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I have a daughter," and I just like put it like that. Like,
it's not a title. No, that's my stepchild. I only do this.
Because I didn't do that with my brother. Like these are my adopted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my brother.
Right.
So it was good
true.
hearing that. So that's what made a big difference. Like, oh, okay, she cool with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Y'all are, this first year, y'all are going through some major, some of the values that you guys are picking up. Which are very, you will see later that they are very major, that you are at a point where you're already accepting and valuing each other, because those 2 things is really hard for people to do at the beginning. And it's going to just make your life so much easier if y'all keep this up the way y'all doing that. It's just really good to hear in the first year.
How is it having, coming from 2 large families? Because there's 5 of y'all siblings, and then you got 4 siblings, and then a bunch of other cousins and everything like that. And so, like, how is it coming? Like, how's the family dynamics for that, and how do you manage that?
It's it's different because you know we all got our favorite cousins and people, so it's more of like you gotta like the cousins I like. Like,
okay,
you know,
okay.
so it's like if you say hi to this aunt, I don't really care. It's like, okay, you say hi to aunt to be respectful, but I want you like this aunt. Like this is the aunt I want you like. That's my aunt. I think it's more of like, in a way, I always tell her like, I'm still gonna protect you first. So if my family say anything disrespectful, let me know so I can approach them on
You
it.
said the first time I met them.
I said if they say, because my family are, they don't. And let me tell you, we get at it.
Yeah.
We would get at a big table playing spades, dominoes, Uno, and we would joan all day. Like that's just our thing. So I said, hey, if they say anything disrespectful, let me know.
And then I met them. They were like, really, this was the first time. They were like really nice. Like everyone was really nice. Like, yeah, I texted them in the group chat before you got there. Told them that, and I'm like,
I said, hey, because look, they never see. My family never see me bring a girl around.
Yeah.
Unless it was just like something like when she come around, just like, girl, look, we was already doing something. I had to stop by real quick. You here? You my best friend. We gonna keep it like that, all right? Don't talk about no relationship because I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna leave you there. And that's how it was. So I was telling him like, look, I told him, I said, this is word from word. I'm bringing my girl. I really love this girl. If y'all say anything disrespectful, I'm gonna let it off. And they were just like laughing emojis. I'm like, and I put, all right. All right.
It's spelled A-I-G-A-C. A-I-G-A-C.
Y'all saw it.
That's around to find out.
Now look, that didn't happen. She was like, they were super nice. She was like, yeah, I told him. I don't play that. Ain't gonna disrespect her. Ain't gonna run this one away, man.
What about you, Chloe? Because you have 5. There's 5 of y'all.
I really like it because I also feel like our siblings or cousins have kind of blended somewhat. Like, well, not all of them, but I feel like I got extra like siblings or cousins with us blending together. Especially his cousin Tay. Like, she's not only cool with me, she's also cool with Cars. It kind of irritates me sometimes because they'll like go off like and do stuff together. And Cars be like, I'm with Tay. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's my cousin by marriage. Why are you hanging out with
And all my other cousins love Cars because Cars went on like a boat trip with them.
Wow.
So she'll like hang out with his family too.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, and like Candace.
Like they love each other. They love each other. And my mom loves Candace. She's my mom, my grandma.
Really?
Oh, really?
They are in love. They talk about Candace so much. And
yeah. So I feel like it's my family grew. It's kind of what it
That's
what
good.
It feels like. And I like that my siblings are close to Rob too. Like if Candace has any issues with something, she'll call Rob and talk about it. Or she wants like advice on like playing the PlayStation, she'll call Rob. If Cars has like relationship issues or wants to talk about guys, she'll talk to me for like 5 minutes. Be like, okay, well, what does Rob think? And so then she'll put Rob on the phone for like an hour or whatever. So it's like my siblings are all together. Or sometimes she'll just call him. She won't even call me. And he'll be like, I'm talking to Cars. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's great. That's great.
Good. That's good.
Great. Both of you all are like very busy people outside of, family and stuff, work and church. How do you all manage both of y'all being workaholics? How do you like prioritize each other in y'all's marriage when work is such a? Because Rob, you like coaching, you coach. Chloe, you have 3 jobs, like 2 full-time and then 1 part-time job.
Right. Okay.
Like, how do you manage that? Like, how do you prioritize each other?
I think for me, Rob had to like kind of tell me about myself.
Okay.
I feel like first I'm like, okay, whatever, this is just what I do. And Rob was basically like, you got all this going on, you could pick like 2. I think I was like doing like 4 things at once. No, he said 3. He said 1 thing has to go.
Okay.
Because we was doing so much. It was starting my business, I'm doing work. And at that moment, we was doing a podcast too.
Yeah.
And then coaching came along. And then she had teaching, another job, and trying to pick up another job. So I was like, we about to cut back on this. And my thought about it is, let me slow it down because I don't want her to divorce me. So I don't want her to get a divorce. So it's like, I don't want her to say I'm not spending too much time with her. I want to do my duties. I want to, I want to have a wife, not a roommate. So let me back it up a little bit. Let me chill out. But
I think it was also entering his world. That's something that my mom told me to do. So I Shout out to Pamela. And so even though he would go and coach his kids, I would go with him. So like he would be coaching in the middle of the field and there was a track and I would just like walk around the track for like an hour or so while he would be teaching, or I would just sit and like watch him coach. So it was kind of like changing our schedule, getting rid of some things, but also in places where we could show up for each other or be there in that busy schedule, then we would do that.
That's so good.
That is good.
When we first got married, Bernie like entered my world. I kind of dragged her into it.
Yeah, he's the extrovert.
Yeah, and so what we did not know when we were doing it, but this turned out to be one of the main reasons why our marriage was successful, was when there would be things, just what you said, there would be things that I want to do, and she would just come along with me, or you would like, oh, I'm coming. I was like, you don't got to come. You can, do that. I'll be back, and you were like, nope, I'm coming.
Yep.
And so that allowed me to be Heath, the same Heath in all my different crowds, because I had a very busy social life. So if Bernie would not have done that, then I would have been Heath that these friends know. I'd have been a different Heath that these people know, and I've been a different Heath to Bernie. And I would have just been moving in those spaces differently. And I definitely would have not been authentic to who I am the same everywhere I go. But because Bernie was with me, and I didn't realize that, okay, I got to stop being Heath this way. I was like, okay, Bernie, my wife is with me, so this is who I am now. I never turned that off. And I never had the requirement to have to like protect Bernie from hearing about me doing these other things that I used to do that I probably still would have been doing with these other crowds. Like if Bernie comes around, oh, these people know that I was out here saying these things or doing these things, but they know not to talk about this around Bernie because we've experienced that where, we all know what's going on, but we can't talk about it in public.
Not with us, but
with
another
other
couple. Like
couples.
everybody else know, but somebody else.
Right. And so it's like, I never had to worry about that. And that allowed me to be authentic to who I am all the time. And it wasn't until like year 2 or 3 that I realized like, oh, that was actually very helpful. And so entering into each other's world is like very, very
major.
A very, very foundational thing that is going to help you all be authentic to who your married selves are, like down the road. And it makes changing easier because you're not having to change just yourself in these different formats. You just like, I'm making one change, it's going to affect all of them.
Right. It's who you are in your house, outside, whatever. You're, you're the married Heath or the married Rob. It's just who you are. You don't have to like code switch.
Right.
See, I struggled with that a little bit in the beginning. Well, in a relationship, going to a relationship, because it was just like, it was many me's as far as like, football, work me, there's professional me, there's this type of me, there's street me. I never really prepped myself through, as we was getting married, to be husband me. I always went to a phase of like, I'm prepping myself, like internally prepping myself. So it was like, when it happened, it was just a struggle because I thought I could still be those type of me's. Yeah. So I guess that's going back to some of the things I had to weed out, like, okay, I can't be this me. This the new me I have to create. So when everyone see me, this is me, who I am now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's especially for men, that's very important that we do that because we can code switch in different environments, and women too. But I'm thinking for husbands. I guess I can speak from husbands because I know the work that I had to do. I knew how I was presenting myself in different arenas, and that's like one of the things that I realized that I could not bring home. And it's ironic because it's like you can't you code switch to be a certain type of person. Like you talk about your family, I talk about my friends, you Joan and you act a certain type of way, but when you bring that home, that's not effective. You can't bring that. So you have to like turn that off, but it's still a part of you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what eventually happened over time was that became less a part of me. That even though when I get with my friends, if something triggers me, it's like, oh, we joning. But now, joning is not what we lean into anymore. And if I think we had to cut one couple back because it was like y'all doing too much. It was like, well, that was one of the things they were doing. But it was like every time we talk, you got jokes, you got jokes, you got jokes. Like, okay, that's fun initially, but we grown now. So
did you feel like you outgrow some of your friends when you did that?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
Because
so
I
many
feel like
of them
I'm
fell
going
off.
through that.
Absolutely.
When I'm being married, I feel like some of my friends I'm outgrowing into the fact that like it's not even like I'm hanging with my friend anymore. It's like I don't really want to hang out with you no more.
Yeah.
You know, like you still in this state. It's like.
And I'll say this from my experience, that's not a bad thing. It's actually a natural thing, and it's not a slight to them either. I'm not even trying to like, oh yeah, you've outgrown them. I wouldn't even put it like that. But when your needs change, and when your interests change, then the things that you are interested in change. And so the things that you used to be interested in has shifted. It's not bad anymore. It's just shifted. And so now you are leaning into the things that you're interested in, which is one, your marriage, two, your wife, because those are two different things, and then the other, like the person that you're becoming. That is, so you're leaning into that, and so you don't have enough time for those other things that you used to give time to, and that's one of the things. One of the things that I realized when there were some people that like, okay, I used to hang with you all real strong, and we still cool, but I have to prioritize this right here, and it's like I just don't have time. And you know what? You know how I knew that was happening? Because somebody did it to me. Like my best friend, who once he had his daughter, it was like I was like, okay, so she's born. All right, that's when you coming out. He's like, no, I'm a father now, and he was like, nah, I can't do that. And it was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, I guess I'm out here solo in these streets then. But I was like, I respected it. It was like, okay, I mean, and it wasn't like. He was cutting me. He cut me off, but he didn't do it in a way that's like something's wrong with you now, and I'm better than you. It was like I don't have time.
I got responsibilities.
Yeah, so go ahead and just you don't have time. Yeah. You don't have time.
You don't have time.
And those people, nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
And because you used to be down with that lifestyle or whatever it is that they're doing, but now you don't. You're not.
Yeah.
So what does the future look like for you all? Y'all have one daughter now. Y'all want to have some more, or is that something?
I'll let Rob answer that question.
Is that something that y'all are good with?
I need a boy.
Oh my goodness!
I gotta play football, like
So you played football in college, right? Okay, all right.
So
that's where that comes from.
Yeah. So he don't have to play. It's just
I said, what if he wants to be a dancer?
Oh my gosh! Look at his face. Oh my God!
It hurt me. It hurt me when Nevaeh wants to be a dancer. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to cheer. I was like, basketball? She was like, nope. I was like, soccer? She was like, nope. I was like, please, no. Like, that's just...
Oh, there was a story. I want you to talk about, Chloe, when you had to tell Rob about letting Vea be a girly.
Oh yes, because Nevaeh is very much like Rob. So
what's her name? Nevaeh.
Nevaeh.
Okay.
Yeah. So she will like run around, we jump in, doing all this crazy stuff. They have like Nerf guns, and so they be shooting at each other.
Oh my God!
And it kind of reminded me of my childhood, which this is not a bad thing. My dad used to get us like race cars and like Hot Wheels and like the the control. Race cars or whatever. Yeah. We used to play with them outside and stuff. And I remember, I think my mom told him to like stop doing that and to like get us girl toys. And when I was younger, I got really irritated. It's like, wait, I like Hot Wheels. Why do we have to play with Barbies?
I know.
But it kind of like made sense because like you still like, it's cool to play with those, but you still want to have like your little girlish moments. So when I would see them like running around the house playing with Nerf guns, I'm like, maybe we should get her some Barbies, or
I'm like, that's more fun in it.
That's cool, that's fun. Y'all are bonding, cool, but she should still have like her little girly moments. And it's not like she doesn't want to, because the example I gave with her holding my purse and coming up the steps, she doesn't want that.
When she said that and we started doing that, I said, hey, Nevaeh, let's go get some Nerf guns. Those are boy toys. I said,
yes. Oh, it was so bad. I was like, it's okay, Rob.
Get out of my house, Chloe.
I looked at
you have turned on me.
You did this.
You turned my daughter against me.
She said, those are boy toys. I don't want to play with those. I want a Barbie. I was like...
Which again, she can have a few Nerf guns.
I was like, that's cool.
Girl toys are important.
Wow.
But for you all, in terms of like your future children, but what about like, career? What about location? You want to relocate? You want to stay here? Like, what do y'all want to do? And it also goes to like my next question is about like purpose. Like there's some reason that God brought y'all together. I'm not saying that you have to know what that is right now, but eventually God will reveal that to you all. But like how is that intertwined into like your future plans and children and other stuff? So like just throw that on the table for y'all.
I feel like we've prayed about it a little bit. I know Rob really wants a son, so we've talked about that. Yeah, I'm right perfectly okay with the son. I'm hoping and praying it's a son so he won't bother me with having I'm like, please let him just pop out and be a boy.
When are y'all thinking about having kids down the road?
Are y'all actively thinking about it?
We have like an age in mind.
We have an age in mind.
Well, it kind of...
We have like an age.
Y'all's age? No, like when y'all want to have kids?
Yeah.
Oh, your age.
We have an age, but also we have like a goal. Like I told her, like, okay, if we can meet this goal before that age, that's cool. Like my main goal is like, let's get our business rolling. We can successfully have a business, have say 10 clients that's like in it. Then, we can do that. But right now, I always tell like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't think we're ready right now. We're still, and now, we figuring each other out.
We still like hanging out with each other.
Like, I don't want to say we're figuring each other out. We're figuring out how to be husband and wife right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
That's perfect.
That's y'all in year one.
I
be wondering why people never mind.
Shout out to the McBrides. Please, if y'all found this conversation to be very interesting and very informative, just go ahead and click the like button and the notification bell, and then subscribe and do all the things. So we want to get to the last questions that we have for you all, and we typically ask couples now, is there any any kind of relationship advice question that you would ask of us about where you currently are or where you're going in the future?
That's a
loaded one.
I know.
Or your next stage of marriage.
Well, I don't know if this is a question. This is what I've heard from couples.
Okay.
They'll say, at work, sometimes people ask me, how long have you been married? And I'll be like, a year. They'll be like, just wait. And I'll be like, what does that mean? Or I have people tell me,
like each other.
We like each other. I don't know. Or I have people say well, you need to wait. Once you get over that 7-year hump, then you'll know. Or once you get past those, or it takes 7 years to really get to know your spouse and know that's the person for you. And I guess my thought is what do you take from that? Is that something that you've heard? Is that something that you believe in? Or do you think that the honeymoon, sweetheart, whatever stage can last until the end? Yeah,
well, it's funny that you say just that about what, when people say how long you been married, then they be like, just wait. Because when we first got married, we heard a lot of the same, but really it was some negative things about everything was kind of negative. We would hear people say, well, we've been married, 20 years and 10 of that was miserable. And
right.
What? And we heard a lot of that where we were. But what we learned is that it does not have to be that way.
Yeah.
So do not take that as, something that you have to take on, because like I said, marriage is not a cookie cutter, but it does not have to be miserable for the first 5 and 6 years because about that acceptance and valuing that you all are doing so well. If you keep doing that, you don't have to have all this misery that people talk about. But you want to.
That's the
but
end
we
of
heard
what
that same thing.
Yeah, that's the end of what I would say. That's the end of what I would say. The preceding that would be to address that issue that people have, which is why there is such a stigma about, just wait. It's because when you get married and there's an awakening of two things, one, yourself, and then the other person that you're living with. And you realize, that's why we ask those questions at the beginning, what did you not know that you needed, but you actually needed? And what did you think marriage was? What were the illusions that you have? Because what happens is people get married and then this awakening happens oh no, I didn't know I had to do these things. or if they take it and they don't be like, okay, let me be coachable, let me learn. They be like,
let me be a sponge.
No, let me correct them because correct her because she's not doing it the way that I perceived it to be right. And then likewise, she's like, no, let me correct him. So there's a conflict.
Or you get in there and you stick your stake on this hill. Like, nope, I'm just gonna be this. Right. I'm gonna be me, and then and you don't move to change or whatever. Everybody's miserable in that.
Everybody's miserable,
and
children
for years.
Too. Yes,
but see, y'all not doing that. So you don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, because y'all are not doing that. So the things that we applauded you all.
That's why we were applauding.
It's because we see it so often in other marriages, but it doesn't exist here. So to Bernie's point, that's why I said Bernie said what I would end with. It don't got to be that way,
right?
It don't got to be that way.
Which is what we said when we were seeing all the negativity. When we first got married, we was like, we don't have to. We're not doing that. Right.
And I'm gonna keep it real. Shout out to your parents, Pam and Eric Redmond, for being a very, very strong example. Of what to do, what not to do, and how to process information and how not to process. And it wasn't that they were like teaching us like a class.
No,
but
we would just hung around.
I mean, we would just be over there. Y'all's house,
all in the wee hours at night. I'm
talking about like.
I mean, we was over their house one
2
night.
o'clock in the morning.
They had to catch a plane at 4 a.m. We was like, y'all might as well just stay. And they did. They just had to just stay up and go shower and get. And then we left, and they had to catch a plane. So they said, we'll just sleep on the plane. It was like
it was almost like every Friday we'd be like,
that's where we hung out.
And we have pizza.
And it was like. You didn't need to call first.
Yeah.
That's how it was. You just show up.
That's why they call us the roomies.
It kind of be like, where's Uncle Heath and Aunt Bernie?
Yeah, we would just show up. And so having that space or having that group of people that we were like encouraged to live in a positive light toward one another, and then us toward others. Yeah. That really helps solidify us.
Because everybody goes through that adjusting period that you guys are going through, but everybody doesn't go through that adjusting period well. And everybody doesn't go through it with like a sponge and like accepting and evaluating, like accepting each other, trying to learn. Some people go through it just being still single, which is where all the problems come in at. Because, and that's what those people are talking about. Oh, just wait. Because somebody was on a hill holding their flag talking about, nope, this is who I am. You just got to love me the way I am.
And it is true to a degree that it takes several years for you to learn your spouse and stuff. But as you saw today, the miscommunication that was had last night about what is expected, that learning never stops.
Right. Yeah, it goes
so it's
on
not like you will get to a point where you have graduated, and you may have graduated with like a degree from like 6th grade, but now you got middle school.
Right.
And so you may graduate 8th grade, but now you got high school. So there's always a next elevation depending upon where you all are. So it's not like
it's different seasons.
A situation where you will have mastered it to a degree,
always learning,
and then you like figured it out and not have to ever learn again. You can master a certain portion of your understanding about it, but y'all are doing the right things. Just keep doing what it is that y'all are doing.
You're learning your mate. That's like major. And once you learn it, and then you're already talking about, I want to do things because this person likes that. Do you know if we could get people to do
niggas
that?
Don't be doing that. They don't be doing that.
Oh my gosh, if we could get people just to do, they said they liked it. It's like amazing that you actually want to do that. People don't naturally want to do that.
I'm glad they are an example of Heath and Bernie in the beginning years of their marriage. They are an example of Heath and Bernie in the beginning years of their marriage. They're doing the things that you all are doing. And I didn't even know that. I know them, but I didn't know that that's what their marriage was like. We really never talked about y'all's marriage for real like that.
It's funny because I be seeing little things that Chloe be putting on story, and I be like, wonder how good it is. I can't wait to talk.
I remember that too. They were like, you be talking about your husband a lot.
We be having the ball. We wake up, we joking, we playing around.
Yeah. But I'm glad y'all came because it is exactly what I be seeing. And what you be saying. I was like,
people ask me that. They're like, you be hyping him. Like, and I'm like, yes, it's really like that.
See?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like when we first were together, people, because we used to work together, we used to drive to work together, we eat lunch together. People's like, y'all get sick of each other? We're like, no.
Yeah,
we like each other.
That's my dog.
People used to say that to us. Y'all go to work together, you eat together, you go home, and y'all not sick of each other.
Yeah.
No, that people say that to us all the time. So
this is how you begin a marriage,
right?
This is how you begin a marriage. If you want a marriage to be successful, this is how you begin it by being very flexible, by being coachable, by engrafting yourself into the other person's world, and just and hearing something for the first time, and then not trying to remember it, but just know it that this is what I do now,
do it,
and just be like, okay, I'm owning my role as his wife, as her husband. I just lean into it. That's what y'all are doing. You're doing a good job. Yay! So the next question, the last question is, what advice do you have for? I think we gave them advice, but what advice do you all have as newly married couples, 1 year in the game, for people that are trying to pursue that path, or either who are about to get married and want to pursue that path? I'm gonna give Chloe and then Rob.
Oh wow, just throw me out there. Yeah. If anything I learned and I would tell other people to learn is to be patient and selfless. I feel like that's something that was kind of hard for me to do first coming in, because I felt like I knew everything that I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And then also when we talked about Rob's emotion, being patient to learn your partner, because again, I thought him being quiet, or like him not like, it's okay, princess, and like holding me and all that stuff, I thought, okay, this person, maybe they don't really care as much, or, you know, there's something wrong with our relationship. But it was just being patient and learning that this is how Rob operates and this is how he's showing love to you. And so I guess that's the advice that I would give to others. Okay. It takes time.
Very good.
You're up.
I would say, as a husband, leave your pride and ego outside, but also as a marriage couple, I would say you guys are coming from two different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So it's like reading a different book all over and you just don't know what's going on. So I would say, same thing, be patient, but I would say just be... Dang. Say
it. I don't know what you're going to say.
But just be coachable. Like, just, pray for each other. And, as a man, just leave your pride and ego outside. Like, and that's just going to help.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think especially with this coming off of, I don't know if this is still as strong as it used to be about a year or two ago, about this whole red pill community, the stuff that, guys are like, women this, women that, here in the kitchen. If that's still strong, it's not in my timeline anymore. Yeah. But that being coachable and leaving your pride and ego putting it aside is a helpful factor. Yeah. So with that, we want to thank you all, Rob and Chloe, the McBrides. Yeah, it's been a great interview. I'm so happy that y'all are doing well. I was hoping that y'all was doing well. We don't got to talk about y'all last week. So if y'all found this enjoyable, if y'all found this delightful as much as we did, please go ahead and like and subscribe and do all the YouTube things. And we will see you all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye. We out.